The clashes are unfolding in the streets tonight. He's
okay, I'm on.
You think you're gonna run down the officers. You think you're gonna run away, you little fat gnome. You fat little gnome. You think you're gonna get away?
You should stop. Smash the flower.
Back up!
Flower.
Back up!
Yep.
Back up! Back up!
Yep. Man, why didn't they shoot him? There's no reason to. They're just running. Oh, fat. Obviously.
Back up! Back up! Back up!
They throw a frozen water bottle at her?
Stand up. They wonder why I never trusted this guy.
Daddy won't move.
You gonna stand up now?
Yep. I hope so. Isn't it crazy this is in America? Oh my god. This is how bad these people are. What did she even do though? She threw a frozen water bottle at the police officers.
They do say that misery loves company.
Oh my god. Yep. Shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done it. Literal NPC dialogue? Absolutely. That's what these people do. Jesus. And so it's the future? Yeah. And you're like, yeah, fuck you. I'm gonna get away with it. I can do whatever I want.
Okay, I'm on.
Okay, I'm out of here. Yeah, you really are. And look at this jog.
Ironically, the vines are not
You
vegetarian.
really think you're gonna get away? Do you think you're gonna throw some? Yeah. Shouldn't have done it. Literal NPC dialogue. And so it's the future? Yeah. And you're like, yeah, fuck you.
Okay, I'm on.
Officer. No.
Okay, I'm on.
Okay, I'm out of here. Yeah, you really are. And look at this jog. You really think you're gonna get away? You think you're gonna throw some shit to federal officers and get away? Oh my god. Man. Peach watching these is amazing. I know, I love watching these. Oh, here we go. Here's another one. That's right. That's right. Gotcha, bitch. The revolutionary jog. Yep, best entertainment on the internet. I love watching these. These are amazing. So, yeah, of course, this is what's going to happen. Let's see if I can find more of this. Oh boy, here we go. No, it's not even that. Hundreds of Somalis on the moment's notice just stormed an ICE operation in St. Cloud, Minnesota at a strip mall. These people are obviously rabid. Uh-oh, here we go. Jesus Christ. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. The Black Hawk down? whistling center. It's another learning. It's another learning center. Yep. Oh my God. Dude, they have let these people go absolutely fucking rabid. You see him right there. They just used tear gas on him immediately. Yep. Yep. And you see them running around like children. Like, all these people have no consideration for the traffic. They have no consideration for anybody else. They have no consideration for other people's safety at all. They're just running around, running through the road like they can just do whatever they want. This is the same fatty. Man. The legs are working again? Yeah. Man. What the fuck is she doing? They're just acting like mental children. That's what it is. True. Were they asking to be deported? Unfortunately, this one we might not be able to deport. The domestic terrorist witnessed the Karen in her natural habitat? Yeah, I guess so. Did she at least say I'm not mad at you? The knockout video? I haven't seen that.
Unfortunately for you,
You gonna arrest me for talking to you?
out of control.
Oh my God. They're so insufferable, aren't they? This is what happens in Texas, okay? Texas Ghost TV and X, okay? This is Texas. Just rounding them up, bro. They got him down on the ground like a hog. Yep. Oh. They're not in the road at all, are they? Round them up. Oh, jeez. By the way, sanctuary cities protect the pedos too. Like, don't ever let somebody use that type of argumentation. These people are standing in the way of ICE removing pedophiles from the country. They don't care about this at all. They're just using this as a tool for blackmail. Yep. Hello, vampire bankers. Oh, jeez. Yep. They just run them down. And so I just want you guys to see it's actually really easy to solve this problem. It's super easy to do it. And, oh God, here they are. Trying to block the courts from sending DHS.
And the sovereign laws and powers of the Constitution grants to states. We allege that DHS's use of excessive force, their wrongs, racist arrests, their targeting of our courts,
They wonder why I
houses
never
of worship,
trusted
and
God.
schools are in violation of the Administrative Procedures Act on arbitrary and capricious federal actions. And we ask that the courts will end the surge of thousands of DHS agents into Minnesota. We ask the courts to end the DHS unlawful behavior.
I think it's time for the insurrection. I've said this before. I think it needs to happen. They have to use it. Because the thing is that the longer that you let this problem exist, the worse it's going to get. Every day that they let this go on is a day that it's going to get worse and worse and worse.
The intimidation, the threats, the violence. We ask the courts to end the attacks on our places of worship, our schools, our courts, our marketplaces, our hospitals, and even on our local law enforcement.
Has response structures in 5,000 streets in Minnesota? I think they have to go even harder than they do. And so here we go again.
Here at that store.
is something that
Isn't this crazy? It really is to me. It's insane.
that has become very common here in Minneapolis and Minnesota, and we do talk about that. But one of the things we talked about that I want you and the viewers to know is this is an operation of contrast. As you know, we just got back from Louisiana, from that fantastic operation here in Louisiana. This didn't happen in Louisiana. Violence did not happen in Louisiana. The fantastic leadership of Governor Landry, Colonel Hodges, and the Highway Patrol.
See, that's the thing, is that whenever the state government doesn't cooperate with the federal government, more people get hurt and more violence happens. So this is the reason why I think that the state government do need to have to cooperate with them, because if they don't, things are just going to get even worse. Because if you have all of there being, like, there's a concerted effort to make sure that things are safe and okay, then everything's fine. But you see how they weaponize the state government in order to make things more unsafe for the federal government.
But we're here in
want it to happen,
Minneapolis.
they do.
Let me give you a statistic here, Martha. Well over 20 assaults on federal officers in 3 days here in Minnesota. In Louisiana, I counted one for that entire 30-day operation. So a vast contrast. I can only think that
The reason why it happens a lot more is because they get away with it. That's the reason why. You've got to round them down. The most annoying thing is they call them stormtroopers and fascists and all that, then continually antagonize them in a way that they've never dare in front of an actual fascist. They trust ICE to resist sinking to their level. You actually bring up a really good point, is that the reason why they're so vitriolic and aggressive to ICE is because they know what they're saying is a lie. Because if they really thought these were murderous, psychopathic fascists, they wouldn't be out there throwing water bottles at them. They'd be terrified of their own crime. No, it's actually a really good point. Yeah, by their own behavior, that's not the case.
Waltz and Mayor Fry, you just had Mayor Fry's speech on there. They're responsible for what you saw in that store yesterday and for that violence that our federal officers confront every single day here in Minneapolis.
It's crazy amount of violence and hostility. You got the federal government state that they require state cooperation, state police cooperation. I'm not sure if we can. I have no idea, but I think that they definitely should. And, oh, is this it? No, this is when they just got our ass. Okay, yeah, we already saw that one. And I'll see if there's any more of these here first. Maplebrook High School. I mean, I would have done anti-ice walkouts in high school, too. Not because I agreed with it, but just so I didn't have... What the fuck is this? Who is this guy? What the fuck is this?
I'm a weapon of mass destruction.
Look at him. It's like, what is that, a white mage? Jesus Christ.
Why you're here. Paul, you came in from Madison, Wisconsin. A long drive. Help explain to me why you're here outside of this business right now.
So I'm out here right now because this business put out a call for people to stand on this corner, watch the business for them. They've been really worried about reopening. They were shut down for the past 5 days after ICE was here, and they just aren't comfortable doing it on their own.
And this is a Mexican restaurant and grocery store. And Paul, I see that you have a lot of equipment on you. You have a camera, obviously. You have another GoPro back here. You've got this acts as a whistle, you were telling me. And you've also got a first aid kit. It would be easy to understand why somebody wouldn't want to be coming out here to do the work that Renee Good was doing after she lost her life. But instead, you drove in 4 hours away. Why is it so important for you to be here right now, to be doing this work
It's a
right
parody?
now?
No,
I
it's
have
not.
family in this community, so I was really worried about them. They share their concerns, and they have a young son. They're not able to do this work. They're not able to stand here and watch over.
It's not work. You're not working. You're wasting your time.
For the neighborhood, so I'm here for them, for this community.
Yeah, they're calling
this
it
is
work.
what they need.
Yes.
They need to see people in this community out here supporting them, showing them that we are not afraid of this state-sponsored terrorism.
And the Trump administration,
State-sponsored terrorism is whenever you get arrested for, breaking the law. And it's insane to see this happen. It is nuts. And, keep prosecuting, keep protecting Latinos that are hiring illegals so they can pay them below minimum wage. Yeah, I don't know how the fuck this happens. But, yeah, and then there's even more of this that's been going on. It's been happening all over the country. You see some construction site. You can see there's new houses. Gotta catch them all. The classic 4-mile-long neighborhood. Yeah. State sponsored terrorism except Iran. That's right. Well, I mean, again, it's terrorism whenever the laws are being enforced, right? I mean, obviously. And I'll tell you, guys willing to defend against paid left and agitator groups? Oh my fucking god. So, yeah, they're actually turning this entire place into a PvP server. Look at this.
And you can see those agents carrying him away by his arms and legs, and you can hear the bystanders protesting his detainment.
I've seen some videos of them taking him by R4, a U.S. citizen that was born here in St. Paul, Minnesota, exercising his rights, reporting ICE on a private property. And they grabbed him by all fours like he's a fucking animal, and they took, excuse my language, but again, born and raised here for reporting, exercising his rights.
Surely all he was doing was reporting, right, guys? Surely.
Excuse my language one more time. That's bullshit.
Fox 9 reached out to DHS to learn more about this specific incident, but we have not heard back. And you can see those agents carrying him away.
Bro, they're bringing him out there like a fucking hog. These ICE agents clearly don't have the training to deal with civilian populations. Our own MP's department isn't this barbarian. That's saying a lot. Well, it's not barbarian. Like, I mean, if you have somebody that's not going to get up and, like, get in the police truck, the police car, what do? Right? You just say, oh, well, they're not going to get up. I guess we're going to let them go. No, you've got to pick them up like you're a wild hog and chuck them in the fucking pan. I mean, obviously, what's the other solution? That's it. There's no other solution beyond that. Yeah, look at them all.
Some things take time to grow on. This really
Oh, boy. I mean, ICE isn't trained for that. It's not their job. It's the state's job. Yeah. These ICE agents are legit doing the heavy lifting for America. They are. It's all the whistles. The whistles are so annoying. You want to see the water cannons come out? I don't think they're going to need to do that. I think all you need to do is just keep arresting them and they're going to stop. If only the state police would help, this wouldn't be bad. No, this entire problem is created because they weaponize the state police to stand down and not assist ICE with doing these arrests. So basically, they've allowed things to get a lot worse because they don't want to fix the problem. They want this to get worse and worse and worse. That's what's happening. Water cannons been banned since the 60s? Well, I guess they might not be doing it then. Do you think a civil war will break out? I think that there's a possibility that they invoke the Insurrection Act and they send in a huge amount of troops to try to shut this down. But I think that will only happen if, like, more people get killed. Like, I think that if there's just more of this, it's just going to be more clips every single day, and eventually they're going to have gotten the majority of the people that are, you know, like targets in ICE for Minnesota, and so then they're going to leave, and then these people will count it as a win, and then ICE will say that we're done, and then people are going to move on. I think that's probably what's going to happen. But if more people get killed, I think there's definitely a possibility that, you know, they could invoke some Insurrection Act. What's the Insurrection Act? It's basically when a state is in open defiance and openly is against the federal government. It's made in a way, like, obviously, so you don't have a situation like the Civil War that happens, where you basically say the government is effectively rebelling against the, rebelling against the federal government. The state's rebelling against the federal government. Yeah. Or if they start burning places down again. I don't think they care about burning places down. If they want to burn down their own city, I don't think the federal government cares. The whole point of the operation is to trigger something to allow the federal government to invoke the Insurrection Act. Yeah, probably. I think they should, honestly. Yep, absolutely. We're going to keep doing this more and more and more. I'll see if there's any more of these that are worth looking at, but you can see very clearly that you know, these people are just... And also, here's another thing. you have to go after their channels of communication, because it's very clear that these people are communicating and interacting with each other. And if you're communicating and interacting in a way that is effectively a conspiracy to prevent a federal operation from happening, that's literally illegal. And so the big problem isn't that these people are doing this, the problem is that they're getting away with it. What is he doing? What are they doing?
Unfortunately for you, the undergrowth is completely out of control.
Jesus. Jesus. Holy fuck. God damn. He got gassed out that fast, huh? Oh my god. Jesus. Jesus. Holy fuck. So he just hits this guy too?
Some things take time to grow on.
Oh my god.
They wonder why I
He
never
folded him? Yeah, that was the original guy. Holy shit. Oh my god. This guy just beat the shit out of him.
just so I could grow.
Oh wow, okay, well there it is. Defend yourself and this little attack you. I mean, I don't agree with hitting people, but if it's self-defense, I do. I mean, obviously I do if it's self-defense. But, you know, one of these days I think it'll probably become more accepted. And I think a lot of people see that and they think that it's a good thing. I mean, very clearly I think they do. And best way to remove people, oh, I already saw this one before, okay. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't miss out on it.
Unfortunately,
And they were assaulting him? They were. They're trying to like push him around, antagonize the guy, do all that stuff. What do you think will happen with the lefties during the Civil War? I mean, a Civil War is going to be horrible for everybody. I don't think anybody should be thinking about a Civil War for any reason. And like people, it's the issue of POV. You're an English copper in 2019, 2026. I don't know what this is. I receive content. You receive the new name retard. There's a lot of these, huh? And yeah, they get folded in like 30 minutes. Well, I think that really a lot of people would like advocating for like, oh, it's going to be a civil war and all this stuff. I'm going to be honest, guys. I think that people need to tone that the fuck down. Nobody wants a civil war. Nobody wants that level of violence. And if it does happen, then it's going to get a lot worse. Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Some things take time to grow on. This will be quick.
Man,
Some of us
we have a really big mental health problem in the country, don't we? Then so on X before you move on. Yeah, I'll search that in a minute, then we'll look at it. We have a big mental health problem.
only me.
Jesus. Jesus. Look at this.
Nature can be very, very cruel.
Oh my God.
Can I?
Why are you...
Unfortunately for you, the undergrowth is completely out of control.
Are you a police officer?
You wish to have flowers right upon your grave.
What does this say? Yeah.
As far as I know, these
right?
bear no
Please step back. I'm asking you twice. Third time I'm gonna make you. If you resist, I'm gonna arrest you. Thank you very much. That works.
The moment the consequences are laid out, behavior changes.
I don't like getting
That's what I've
lost
said
in some
over and
emotion.
over and over.
They're taking these men unlawfully.
Yep.
They're taking these men unlawfully. They're taking these men unlawfully. They're taking these men unlawfully.
I think she's about to gas herself up. I think she is. You can see like she's building up.
They're taking these men unlawfully.
Ironically, the vines are not vegetarian.
Oh God.
They're
What? You can see like she's building up. I think she's about to gas herself up to go over there again. I think she is. You can see like she's building up.
taking these men unlawfully! They're taking these men unlawfully! These are our neighbors! They're taking these men unlawfully!
Oh God.
They're taking these men unlawfully! They're
What?
taking these men unlawfully!
Jesus Christ. They're absolute fucking schizos, aren't they? Jesus.
I called 911.
You did? Oh God. Jesus. It's so loud noises, I know. Wow. The Karens, I know. Jesus. Jesus. They're nuts. Have you listened to this? It makes it more bearable. Yeah, the music does make it a lot more bearable. The guys they're arresting aren't even resisting or making a scene. Yeah, don't worry. There's a privileged white woman who's out there who's going to help save you. You can't save yourself. Don't worry. Karen and Cheryl are here. They're going to take care of you. Everything's going to be fine. Oh my fucking God. Bro, that poor horn. That poor fucking horn. Wow. Let me see if there's any of these that's worth looking at too, because there's just so many of these posts that are shown here. And it's just unreal how many of these are going on. Oh, jeez. Where is it? Massive anti-ice protests in Minnesota. Oh, yeah, this was from yesterday, I believe. And asking ICE protesters what they know about the Somalian fraud.
How do you feel about the Somali fraud in Minneapolis?
To be honest, I haven't researched it a lot, but from what it looks like to me, is it looks like it's made up content from people trying to smear different walls.
I checked into that a little bit, right? There's nothing going on there. There's like this edgelord going around.
He's a fucking Mormon. He's not an edgelord. What are you talking about? He's an edgelord. He's a Mormon.
Would recommend.
What are we doing?
Nature can be very, very cool.
None of this stuff is rooted in truth and reality. I think you just go out, do your own research, like actually do that. Like go out just like showcase video evidence. Come to a realistic opinion about what's going on in the world.
That's the problem.
Scapegoat, right? For anti-Somali immigration hate.
I don't know much about the Somali fraud.
So there's a question as to whether it is a fraud. I don't know. I'm not following that real closely.
Yeah.
So I will research especially on that.
I love how the coroner is the only guy that has a reasonable opinion that makes sense, where it's like, yeah, I've heard about this. I don't know if it's true or not. Rather than like saying, well, I don't know anything about this, and then giving their opinion on it anyway. So they preface it by basically saying, well, I don't really know what I'm talking about, but it's wrong.
They're just using this as an excuse to go in there and scare people and show that it's really powerful. I don't think it's authentic at all.
Naturally. What protesters don't know is if the rest is actually false, they're making it exponentially harder to prove their innocence in court. And do you think that many of these liberal women have domination fetishes? I mean, I'm going to be honest. I think it's possible. I do. I think it's possible. But, you know, who knows? Armed raids are happening on Somali heavy properties. Holy shit. They're out of their fucking mind. single. Can you see why? I can. Jesus. Total crash out. Isn't it ironic that these people have all the energy for defending Minnesotan Somalian scammers, but they have none of the energy to even talk about the Iranians? Like, basically, the Iranian government is doing what they think the American government is doing. They're actually killing protesters. They're actually executing them and suppressing them. They're actually turning on the internet. And I get that Iran's a foreign country, but I bet these people are more spamming about Palestine. Palestine's a foreign country too. So what's the difference here? Why is that not happening? Interesting, isn't it? Very interesting. They're paid? They don't care? Yeah. Trying to help. Why don't they protest lawmakers instead of law enforcement? Because they can't. They lost the election. That's the reason why. Yeah, it didn't go the way they wanted it to. Obviously.
Today I learned a valuable lesson. You're gonna go patrol ice.
Unfortunately for you,
Patrol
the
ice?
undergrowth is completely out of control.
This psychosis is going to get more people killed. This has to stop. You're not patrolling ice. What are you doing? Yeah.
Ice vehicles stopped in fucking daycare. Investigating fraud, right?
Yeah.
Then why does it fucking matter? If I stop my vehicle on the street and honk my horn, maybe I'm having a problem.
Because the law enforcement officers are doing this, that means that I can do this. These are people who have suffered no consequences for anything that they've ever done in their entire life. And they just think that they're the same as a federal law enforcement officer.
By the bodies I leave in my wake.
Oh my god.
Insta-kill! Having a fucking mental health episode, you know?
Makes me feel
so alive! Maybe I'm having a fucking mental health episode, you know?
Remember what I said about insane?
Or maybe I'm having a fucking mental health episode.
Oh my god.
Having a fucking mental health episode, you know?
Wait,
but
what?
What did I honk my horn? Maybe I'm having a fucking mental health episode, you know?
What I said about the insane asylums? See?
But what did they do? They first of all, one of the agents looked at me and goes, that was before I even started honking.
Honestly, base stereotyping. Total base stereotyping. He just had to look at you, and he knows what you are.
Really just pulled up on me and fucking staring.
She has the whistle.
I started honking. I sat there and laid on the
Wow. That's brave. Can you believe it?
And then there was a very loud banging at the back of my car, and before I knew it, there was a person on my driver's side window with their fucking gun. Their big fucking gun.
Yes, you can't box in federal officers.
They're very loud banging at the back of my car, and before I knew it, there was a person on my driver's side window with their fucking gun. Their big fucking gun.
Nature can be very, very cruel.
Yes, you can't box in federal officers by parking in the middle of the road and honking your horn like a schizo. Thank you. Thank you. This is right. fucking based. The only thing that would have been more based is if she had gotten arrested.
My heart is singing.
And I did.
That's right. The moment the threat of force is introduced, people like this instantly lose their composure, and they go right back to being good little boys and girls, and all these problems go away.
Take time to grow up.
The unwillingness and the fear of using that is causing more death and more violence than anything else. In order to have a orderly society where people are normal, you have to hold people like this accountable. Now what?
I think I'm more angry and frustrated by this than I am scared.
Good. Good.
I'm pissed.
Good.
That I have to back down because you have a gun.
That's right. That's right. And it's also not because he has a gun, it's because he's a federal law officer, and the Democratic election chose you as the loser. You lost the election. That's the way it goes. Why is this dude so soy? I think it's a chick.
And then you will kill me. And then you will kill anybody that stands in your fucking fascist way.
Absolutely. You try to harm an officer, you try to put them in a deadly situation, and they absolutely should harm you. You have no right to do that. You have no right to use your power as a weapon. You have no right to put an officer's life in danger. You have no right to box an officer in. There's no reason for that. And I'm glad that people are finally not putting up with this shit anymore. These people are insane. And the thing is that the way to approach these people is that you give them literally no credibility whatsoever. Don't listen to what they're saying. Don't try to see their point of view. To the extent that you see their point of view and you empathize with them, they will use that against you. They'll use that against you for sure. Never give them even 1%. Never trust in everyone. Yeah, never
But at the
play
same
into their
time, I'm not wasting my life.
That's right.
Right? I love it.
You're lucky if you get arrested. If it was up to me, she'd be in jail.
I like being here, and I don't want to not be here.
Yep. Just stay in your fucking house.
And it's frustrating to have always been somebody who is involved in protests, and
now you're finding out.
Nature can be very, very cruel.
And this is the problem, is that you see this adult child has been coddled, protected, and insulated from the consequences of its behavior and its actions for so long that the moment that they're actually given any degree of authority, they break down into a crying mess. This would have never happened if you had held these people accountable from the very beginning. But now you have a 40-year-old woman who's sitting here crying about being told that you can't go and interrupt the federal investigation. This is where we're at.
involved in speaking out, and it's always felt like, for the most part, I've been able to have my right to protest, my right to be angry.
Your right to be angry? You don't have a right to be angry. Not whenever it means stopping your car in the middle of a road and laying on the horn. Nobody has that right.
They wonder why I never trusted.
And that's not it for it.
No, it's not. Thank
and
God.
I'm really fucking angry about it, and I'm
It's gonna get a lot worse. If it's up to me, I'm gonna vote for somebody that's gonna make it 10 times worse. I think everybody else should too. These people are parasites. They're retards. They'll destroy everything around them just so they can feel good. This is only the beginning. If you thought it was bad now, it's gonna get a lot worse. It's gonna institutionalize.
because I can both hear.
And you see what she's saying here, right? Oh, wait a minute. I can't just be a vitriolic, angry, retarded heartbeat running around, driving around, laying on the horn, blocking traffic. I guess now I'm going to have to do things that are actually inside of the law. She's totally proving my point. She's completely proving what I've been saying the entire time. The moment that you apply any consequences to these people, they go back to factory default settings instantly. Because they don't want to die. That's it. Blocking exit cars is like Batman villains. Congrats. Arkham Asylum called. They've got padded rooms waiting. That's right. I have to do good things now? Yes. This shit we have to put up with because of these people. Finally, the total Karen obliteration is happening. That is what I'm looking for. We want total Karen obliteration. All of the people that are out there doing this need to get arrested, detained, fined, and just whatever they need to do to get them out of the fucking road. Break their windows if they're not rolling down the windows, do whatever they need to do. How have these liberal Karens not figured out that they're a demographic that all sensible Americans want to remove from infecting our nation? Well, there's a lot of them and they only talk to each other. That's the reason why. This is only the beginning.
My time and my energy in other places.
That's right.
And also, I'm not fucking afraid.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And you know you are. That's why you're angry.
Come back and sit in my fucking car and on my horn. You scared?
No, you're not.
You're shit out of me today.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna fucking back down. We're not going to back down.
See, they always say that and then they back down. Can you undo a Karen into a normal person? Yeah, it's actually really easy. The way that you do it is you just simply apply consequences for it. And then the moment that consequences are applied to these people, then they stop behaving this way. That's it. It's a schizo Karen. Yeah. And this is the solution for how to handle this the entire time. And so I've been trying to advocate for this and talk about it for a long time. But for some reason, people aren't listening. And now they finally know. She thinks the world revolved around her? Absolutely.
ICE, immigration, protests. You want to know what's really going on in this country? We have an army of juvenile, youthful idiots who are cosplaying as some kind of freedom fighter for a phantom cause that was made up by wealthy Democrat politicians who want their power back.
Yep.
That's it. This thing that happened in Minnesota, it's going to happen again and again and again if they continue playing stupid games. They're on the run.
The reason why it happens is because the government isn't forcing them to stopping them. You see the guys that knocked out 3 protest groups today? No, I haven't.
On side of the law. I don't care what Harry Sisson or Aaron Parnas or any of the Democrat elected officials say. ICE are law enforcement agents enforcing duly passed laws. The way this works in our republic is that if you don't like the laws, you work to get the laws changed. See, there's a reason they left the border wide open for 4 years, because they knew if anybody came in and tried to close it and enforce those immigration laws, then they would just call in their army of useful idiots and try to pull everybody's heartstrings and say, oh my gosh, these thugs are just going around picking up black and brown people. That's not the case.
So the thing is, like, you don't even need to argue with that. Like, there's no reason even to debate with that, because nobody's saying that honestly. They're just saying that to make you stop talking.
See, the guy, this woman, who is no longer with us, was trying to stop them from getting to him, was a monster. You couldn't tell her that. And I'm guessing her wife now regrets screaming, "Drive, baby, drive."
I bet
the last thing she ever said to her wife was, "Drive, baby, drive."
Yep.
Because they felt like they were some kind of freedom fighter, and they thought they were playing a game, like a video game.
Exactly. They act like they're on a private server, where there's no rules and they can do anything that they want. That's exactly it. And the reason why they think that is because they've been trained to think that because of not having any consequences. That's the exact reason.
The ICE agents aren't playing games. They are enforcing our laws. What we voted for, the majority of this country, the popular vote, the electoral college, the Democrat politicians don't care. They don't care. They don't care how many lives have to be lost. As long as they can turn the tide and win this electoral victory. We're not backing down. The American people stand behind what we voted for. We don't want to see anybody lose their life. So We should all be calling on these Democrat politicians to stop the lies.
Well, they need to stop going out there and advocating for these people to go out and, peacefully protest. Like, you need to have more of these Democrat politicians coming out and saying, stop getting in the road, stop getting in the street, stop destroying property, stop interrupting investigations. And, like, the problem is that they don't really tell their voters, because the voters do listen to the politicians to an extent, right? And so they have to come out and say, hey, listen, guys, we understand that you're upset, but you can't impede operations. You can't do that. You're going to get arrested. And they don't say that because they don't want to say that. Just like they did with supporting Hamas, because they want the chaos. Yeah, I think that they want the chaos so they can use the chaos as evidence that the policies are bad.
And stop putting these people in danger.
Yep.
By telling them they need to get out and fight.
Yeah.
Tim Walz is a disgusting human being. The mayor of Minneapolis is a disgusting human being.
Ooh. True.
It's gonna stop.
Love to see it.
One way or another.
And yeah, they benefit from the dying because they can profit from the chaos and get more votes. Exactly. And I think that's exactly what's happening. Here's another one. Listen to this.
The actual victims of this fraud are probably actually Somali families.
I think.
I don't know.
Man. Is that right?
Victims are taxpayers.
Taxpayers
Victims are people who
Somalis are taxpayers.
They're hold on.
They are announced.
Yes, they are.
I want to get the data.
Hold on.
Yes, they are.
80% of them are on welfare.
They pay
Hold on a
state,
second.
local,
Hold on a
and
second.
sales tax. They get it all back with their welfare
Hold on.
payments. They're not
Oh.
taxpayers.
Get it
all back.
Wait, so wait, hold on. But Hal, are you suggesting that all across America, the actual victims of this fraud are probably actually Somali families?
You guys see where we're at? Y'all see this? The hope is strong. I know. It's crazy how committed these people are to just complete and total misinformation. Total lies, total misinformation, total misrepresentations every single time. Isn't that insane? Yeah, it's such a tool and a host. Yeah, the monkey header and scratching her head. Yeah, it's retarded, man. Look how proud she looks of herself. I know that. I know. It's just so retarded. But that's the way that these people act. It is. And then, oh, here we go. Let's listen to this again. Notice the shift. Listen to this.
If they are saying that he has 10 years on service and is trained, he should know that you shouldn't be trying to get in front of a moving car. And if they...
Whichever person runs for president will be running on the platform of putting this woman out of America, revoking her citizenship and sending her back to Somalia. That's who I'm voting for. I am. I'm so sick of these foreigner immigrants coming into our country, turning into the third world shitholes that they came from, and then running for office, and then trying to use our Constitution as a justification for their third world creation of our country. We gotta get them out. We gotta get them out, bro. This is insane. Deporting her, I know. And this is it. And the video's out. I don't know if it's out entirely. Are you actually gonna vote next time? If there's a candidate that I think will solve the problems in a way that I think is fair and justified and comprehensive, then yes. But if that doesn't happen, I'm not going to vote. I'm not going to vote for somebody who isn't going to do that. We're going to call you racist for that? Like, I mean, what is it? Oh, wow. Like, oh, they weren't going to do it. Does that matter? Who cares? Like, it's true. I don't want them here. Absolutely not. Yeah, they're defending this bullshit. Whenever I have somebody that's saying that it's your fault for being in front of the car, whenever somebody drives a car in your direction, then, yeah, I don't want them to. Absolutely not. You know, Chance, the most dishonest fake motherfuckers, worst faith in anyone on the planet. Yeah, exactly. And, yeah, they call me racist anyway, exactly. You can't worry about what you're being called like that. There's no reason to do that. So, yeah, anyway, let's go back. I'll look at some of the other posts here, too, because there's been even more of this going on, too. But, yeah, this is insane. As a Norwegian, this is what I see in the streets of America.
Do you wish to have flowers placed upon your grave?
Is that right? Is that right, Glenn? From Norway, dog lover and Democrat. I think it's time for you to go back to Norway.
Ironically, the vines are not
I
vegetarian.
do. I think it's time. It's time for you to go back. You know, like we have enough of our problems here. We don't need anybody else here that's doing this. The board, yep. We don't blame him. Too bad, buddy. He's yours. These guys are too thin. Yes, exactly. Oh, it's so fucking embarrassing, man. Unfortunately, our Nazis are not as well groomed. True. Stay in Norway then. And I'm so glad to see people calling out the massive privilege that people have just saying that, you know, Border Patrol agents are like Nazis. Like, you know what Nazis did? That's insane. And so he should have complied with law enforcement officer commands. Which is, again, that's the whole thing. Jesus didn't comply. They don't even know the basics. This is what I've said before, is that these people only weaponize Christianity and religion. The only time that they bring it up is so they can weaponize it against you and use it to subvert your values and what you agree with. That's what they do every single time. And so I watch people on Netflix, I'm educated now. Yeah, this is what they do. And so anytime that you see somebody that's not a Christian or something like that, where they said Jesus would have let in a bunch of illegal aliens, like obviously that's not what's going to happen at all. But anyway, I did say, remember whenever I said that the vast majority of political violence is far right? And, sorry, far left. And, you know, people said, no, look at the graphs, look at the graphs. This is Elon Musk also realizing that the ADL falsely classifies a ridiculous number of murders as right-wing. For example, white-on-black murder is classified as right-wing, but black-on-white murder is simply not classified. They're huge liars.
Should I be wearing safety goggles?
It's just what I said. We knew this, but Redditors didn't, because they don't understand data analysis. Bro, yeah, there it is. Let's convert a liberal and harassment. She breaks down and crying after realizing she can get arrested. Oh, here we go.
Why are you guys
I'm trying to give you a warning. Go to jail.
She can get arrested. Oh, here we go.
Why are you go to jail too. Now you're recording. Okay, good job.
Why are you doing
trying to give you a warning.
I'm a girl.
I'm trying to give you a warning, okay?
Okay.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
You keep following us, you're going to end up like him. You're going to get arrested. Okay?
Okay.
This isn't enough. It's not enough. You've got to arrest them. It's not enough for you to give them a warning and have them crying, because they're going to go home, they're going to cry, they're going to rally again, and they're going to come back. You give them, you actually arrest them, and you hold them accountable. You arrest them every single time.
I don't know who that is.
Yep, there it is. I'm a girl, who cares? Well, that's what they do. And this is what I'm saying before, is that these are people that are living with a tremendous amount of privilege, and they have the advantage of this privilege, and then they use it to effectively get off for free on everything. They miss the irony. The reason they often don't face so many consequences is precisely because they're white women. They're vindicated. They aren't. And this is the main issue of what's happened, is that you have a lot of, you know, these white women that don't face any consequences from the law because they're women and they're white. And so because of that, they think that they're invincible and they can do anything that they want. That's basically what's happened every single time. And I feel like that's kind of how things have gone for, I would say, probably the last 20 years or so. So Scott Besson says the Somalian fraudster tried to bribe a jury. What's this?
One thing I'd like to talk about related to this whole architecture of intimidation is that there are 501c3 nonprofit groups that are funded by left-wing dark money that are organizing, or at least at arm's length, encouraging criminal activity, criminal acts, criminal obstruction of federal officers, including ICE agents.
Why don't go after
Is the Treasury looking into this? Is this something that you have authority to track down?
Well, I don't understand why the moment that you find out an account is engaged with unlawful behavior and paying people to do things that are illegal, why not just instantly shut down the account? I feel like it's so simple. Just instantly delete.
Unfortunately for you, the underworld is completely out of control.
We have the authority and we are examining them. When you see these protests, someone is financing. There are that when you see 300 people with the same values that they're using on desk agents and
this guy is a real one. He is. So, like, if he says he's going to do something, it will probably happen.
But the rats will turn on each other.
Wait, what did you just say?
And my is that the rats will turn on each other. That, you know, as
yes, they will.
I believe you reported or someone talked about in the roundtable.
Yes, they will.
One of the Somali fraudsters tried to bribe a juror with $120,000. What turned out, she'd been given $200,000 to bribe the juror, and she skimmed $80,000. Like it's like the scorpion. It's in their nature.
Yeah. A scorpion and a frog. Oh my God. It's in their nature. Jesus. He's going all the way with it. He just doesn't give a fuck.
So we're going to turn our attention back to the Somali fraud investigation.
There's another one. There's another part of this.
Authorities have discovered suitcases containing hundreds of millions of dollars in Minnesota airport. Now, in the meantime, Republicans are working...
Suitcases containing hundreds of millions of dollars?
Everyone else still alive!
Cut funding for Somali-led organizations with
oh my God.
ties to the massive fraud scandal. Now, as the FBI pushes forward with its own investigation, one key question arises. What does accountability even look like in this case moving forward? So joining us now to talk about all of this and more is New York Congresswoman Zarya. Congresswoman, thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Some of us
when did this happen? Yeah, this is insane. I'm trying to see. Well, they say it's even larger. Trump is talking live.
Ironically,
that's
the vines
true. Is that
are not
true?
vegetarian.
Let me double check before I watch the rest of it. Seems like that's not the case.
Absolutely insanity, and I know Oversight in the House is looking into these fraud allegations, but I wonder if it's even bigger than we have uncovered thus far. $700 million in cash
so
out of
obvious.
the airport there.
Completely obvious.
I have a feeling we are still just scratching the
Totally
surface.
obvious.
Yeah, it looks really bad.
It does look really bad.
U.S. cash has been legally going through our airports, and of course there is a requirement of reporting if you're going to carry more than $2,000. There's a reporting requirement. I think the really interesting part about this is that, you know, isn't it going to be a little suspicious when you start seeing 10,000, 100,000, millions, and now, you know, more, as John reported earlier, more money that goes through
That's
JFK.
insane. That's fucking insane. Look at all that money.
Minneapolis Airport.
Oh my God.
Wrong there. And I think something that's very interesting that we impose on banks is that banks are required under banking law to report and file and keep track of what they call suspicious activity reports. This is something I think we need to do now when we see large amounts of U.S. cash. And it's always U.S. cash. I mean, you're not going to see Chinese yen or anything else going in there. And U.S. cash is Canadian euros, and we need to certainly have this type of cash exchange reported. You know, it's interesting because all this illegal immigration we've had over this time, and by the way, most of those Somalis that are in Minnesota probably came from the refugee program, and probably
0 refugees. Unless they're hot. I'm not kidding.
Actually, many of them are legal American.
Or from potentially a European country, I'd be okay with a European country, but anywhere else.
Suspicious activity reports, some kind of accounting for cash, I think would really be helpful.
Maybe Japan.
I'm looking at ways that we might be able to do this so that we can actually look at what's going on. You know, banks are required to do that, individuals are not. But I'll tell you, if I'm a TSA agent or anyone else...
What she's referring to is that banks are required to report large withdrawals over a certain amount of money, and they also report withdrawals that are very low underneath that amount of money because they have algorithmic systems that detect whenever people are trying to withdraw money to, like, for example, I think one of the thresholds is $10,000, right? And so, very clearly it is, right? Because that's another threshold for going into an airport. So they'll withdraw, like, you know, $9,950 or something like that. And so they'll be going underneath it regularly, and that will still trigger it. It's for laundering, and other things too. Like there's you can use, you know, like you can use money like that for a lot of reasons.
And I see this kind of cash going through, and that you're able to report the amount of cash going through, that it's happening in plain sight.
Yeah.
You know, we're seeing corruption.
They're letting it happen because it's happening and it's a minority group doing it. That's the reason, and they agree with it. That's why.
They go back often to foreign countries and you know, substantial portions of their economy, whether it's Guatemala and Mexico and other countries, you know, their own workers are sending that money back. But this is
Think about the fact that their economy is built around us, of them scamming us. Does it plan on how to investigate this yet? Yeah, I'll look at it after this.
at a level that's just unprecedented. And I really think we need to look into a way to track that and to actually show that we can hold them accountable and that type of suspicious activity leads to fraud or rather we're seeing unfold every day in Minnesota, which seems to get worse by the day.
Suspicious activity reports are $5,000? Really?
Ask about
damn, that's low.
There's also legal residents that move money out of the country. Payment centers and, of course, these cash couriers and so on.
There's a lot of those. In America, or Texas, I mean, there's a lot of
We've fought in Congress to require that the remittance payment business for a cash courier ascertain and make sure that before they move money, the person has been moving money from out of the United States is a lawful resident.
Yeah, I think that should be a requirement, and also they should have some kind of certification. If you were a person that we can trust, our intelligence forces have already vetted, that you can be carrying huge amounts of cash back and forth to other countries. And I don't think those types of laws are in place, and I think that's a really good way to start heading.
Yeah, they're not, because like I've had my account shut down multiple times, right? I mean, like it's happened, and that's what's so weird about it. Is like if somebody who's transferred, like I've sent large amounts of money for like things over the years, and I've even had accounts shut down myself. So how is it that they're getting away with this on $1 million scales?
And also
holy shit!
Where this cash within the United States is going, and what it would have led to had we paid attention to this over the last 10 years, and when you reported earlier on $700 million. I mean, that's almost $1 billion going. I think it was $700 million going to an airport in Minneapolis, but not JFK. Amazing, right?
They need to go to jail for those. Some of the bankers for this? Yeah, I don't know. Did you get the money back from Coinbase? I did. That's resolved now. It's not an issue. The banks are getting bruised. Can you link the video? Yeah. So $700 million in cash. 700. You had the easy way. You had the easy way, and you chose the hard way.
Exhausted in trying to ask what any of this, information has led to you finding any criminals that you have indicted that explains why you are wasting so much of our taxpayer resources.
Now we care about taxpayer resources. Oh.
Also
yeah.
Our communities in the federal law enforcement
terrorizing the communities
that you have in the streets of our city and our state. There needs to be some sort of justification.
Mayor, did you do enough to combat fraud?
Look, obviously everybody could have done more to prevent fraud, and I think that's a fair point
it's
to make.
everybody's fault. This is the mind of a Karen. The constant, diffusion of accountability to an amorphous everybody rather than a specific person that did something wrong.
You look what he's doing right now. He's setting up a whole new
This is a Karen mentality.
do that. And by the way, look, the fraud.
How are they not in jail? I don't know.
Fraud is very
It is
real.
weird to hear him speaking English, isn't it?
And by the way,
yes, it is.
When somebody commits fraud, and there are many that have done that,
Ilhan Omar is still covering up for the Somali fraudsters in Minnesota.
Yeah, this is insane. I didn't even know anything about this. Holy fuck. $700 million? Jesus, they're just trying to take it out to the airport. Oh my god. I don't even know what to say. R.I.P. R.I.P. Really. After evolution throughout the years. Because of how much the mode has changed, it would be impossible to compare the nostalgic maps of our childhood with a modern zombies map. But I'm gonna do it anyways, because this is the ranking of every single Call of Duty zombies map ever made. The absolute worst map in all of zombies is the Archon from Call of Duty Vanguard. Just the fact that this map exists should be embarrassing for the Call of Duty franchise. The Archon came at the tail end of Call of Duty Vanguard's life cycle. To provide some context for what this map is, we need to talk about Call of Duty Vanguard as a whole. Although I will not be ranking the objective-based zombies, I'm sticking to purely round-based maps. Basically, the maps on this list are all maps where once you kill a certain amount of zombies, you go to the next round. The map that came out with this game at launch was called Daron Fong. It was an objective-based map. You teleported from different area to different area, and you ran through the same handful of objectives over and over and over again. It was really boring, really repetitive. The second map on the game was called Terra Maledicta. It was set in this deserty, dusty location. It wasn't particularly interesting, and it had the player play through the same scale objectives that were on Daron Fong. Not memorable. If I was ranking the non-round-based maps, this one would be very, very close to the bottom. So by the end of Vanguard's life cycle, those zombie players that had actually purchased Vanguard for the zombies were, they were kind of pushing for a round-based map, and that's what the Archon is. It's a makeshift round-based map. They basically took Terra Maledicta and slapped an ugly green filter on it and made it round-based. So essentially, the Archon is a remaster of a map that came out in the same game. To me, it's just such a joke to even talk about. The wonder weapon on this map was a shield, which, if you compare it to something like Black Ops 3 Zombies, the shield was just another feature. It was one of many features on that game. The shield on this map actually took up a weapon spot. So if you wanted to have the wonder weapon of the map, you could only have one gun that can actually shoot zombies, which is just disgustingly bad game design. There was like a little Easter egg on this map that I remember not hitting with a boss fight at the end that was fine. I think it's probably not technically the least enjoyable map in Call of Duty history, but for me, the Archon is just so embarrassing that I had to put it at the bottom spot. 64 to 62 are going to be these three World War II survival maps. I'm gonna be honest, I have not played these very much at all. They are not maps that I'm particularly excited for speaking about. World War II is already one of my least
favorite Call of Duties to play zombies on, and if I'm gonna play it, I would rather play one of the full-size maps to run an Easter egg or something. There's not a whole lot of separation for me with these maps. I could never play any of them again, and I'll be perfectly fine. I think the Bodega Cervantes map is my least favorite. It's just a little town. It reminds me more of a multiplayer map. It's very wide open. You have a lot of room to work around with, meaning it's the least challenging of the three. Then I would have Altar of Blood, which is, we're really getting into the weeds with these maps. Aesthetically, this map is fine, but again, I'm not really enjoying my time playing it. Then I would say the USS Mount Olympus is probably the highest of the three. It's at least in an interesting location. The zombies map on the ship is
sheriff who threatened to arrest ICE has doubled down, saying, "You don't want this smoke." And it's the perfect example of the bifurcation of our political realities, the escalation of the conflict, and civil war coming to this country. Now, I will say this, it appears that, and you all know I feel this way, we've been on track for a civil war for some time, but I don't know that it actually happens, and I preface this always with, maybe it stops here, maybe everybody backs
is pretty cool. What really sucks about playing all three of these maps is that you have to play in the World War II zombie system. The way that the armor works is a little tedious. The zombies themselves, there's so many different zombie types. You have the ones that run at you, several different big zombie types with huge HP pools that I just can't be bothered with. These set of survival maps are three of the most forgettable experiences in all of zombies. Staying on the theme of these lowest rated maps, the next few maps on the list are the Black Ops 7 survival maps. There's nothing egregiously wrong with these maps necessarily. They're maps to load into to farm the camo challenges to give yourself a little bit of dopamine for having a slightly better camo on your gun. For me, the act of just shooting zombies and going through rounds is just considerably less fun in modern zombies than it was in classic zombies. I think that's because on the older maps, on the older survival maps, you might hop on and try to, get your training skills up. Hone in on your movement, hone in on getting your overall skills as a zombie player up. And survival was just a nice way of quickly getting set up and then instantly getting into the zombie killing action. However, in modern zombies, let's be honest, you don't really need to hone in on your training skills to be good at zombies in the modern game. You don't have to be as precise with your mechanics. And so that leaves me feeling a lack of excitement when I think about these survival maps. I do think I prefer the aesthetics of the diner spot, so I would put 115 survival slightly ahead, but I think Van Dorn Farm is slightly more meta for getting the camos quick, so it's really a wash at the end of the day. Number 59, I have Farm Survival, yet another survival map. This one is more of a classic, all the way back on Black Ops 2 Zombies. Farm for me was always my least favorite survival map. I feel like the combination of having perks but not having Pack-a-Punch is just the wrong recipe for a survival map, where you get the extra HP of just making you more survivable, but then not having Pack-a-Punch, not having that extra firepower makes the rounds slog on and on and on. And compared to a map without Jug, it's not particularly hard to survive, but it is hard to kill through the rounds. And so for me, I always just found Farm to be the least enjoyable. Also, I just think the farm area on Transit is just aesthetically the least interesting out of all the survival areas where, Bus Depot is a very bright neon light shining up, where you have to navigate some spots of lava and dip in and out of the fog. Bus Depot presents a bit of a challenge. Town is, of course, very iconic and classic, and spoiler alert, will be much higher on this list. for me, Farm is obviously the worst of the bunch. 58 is Outbreak from Advanced Warfare. Exo Zombies is not a game mode that I'm high on. I've never found the Exosuit to be a very enjoyable addition to a game of zombies. So a lot of these Advanced Warfare maps are very, very low in the grand scheme of zombies. For me, Outbreak, despite it being the first of its kind, despite it being the first Exo Zombies map, to me is just so bland and boring. It's in just generic facility. The Easter egg is basically just run around and find some key cards. It's very plain, it's very short and sweet. It's not actually very sweet. And then the helicopter comes in and crashes, and it's like, what did I even just play? At the end of the day, this is just the least enticing zombies map in all of Advanced Warfare. A game that I don't really love the zombies on. Next up is another Advanced Warfare zombies map. Here we have Infection, aka Burger Town. This map you fight zombies in a storage facility, and then you use the sewer system to get on over to the Burger Town fast food joint. I have similar thoughts to this map as I do Outbreak. I'm just never ever thinking about this map when I'm like, oh, I want to play some zombies. Oh, let me load up Infection from Advanced Warfare. I will say this map is much more memorable for me than Outbreak, where the Burger Town was and is still kind of a little bit of a meme within the zombies community. With the Easter egg steps, you literally build a burger, which is just an insane choice, but it's something that even, 11 years after the map came out, you still remember it. Every 5 to 6 rounds on this map, you have what is called a survivor round, which you basically have to escort a fast food worker around the map, and if you fail this, the power just gets shut off around the map, and your exosuit gets disabled, which by the time you get to the higher rounds, this becomes a very annoying, almost unfair round, where you're basically guaranteed to pick stuff turned off. Exo Zombies on the whole is just a clunky mode. I don't like it. The maps are going to be at the bottom. 56 is the aforementioned Bus Depot Survival. Every so often, once every couple years, I'm like, damn, I really want to go for a round 30 on Bus Depot Survival. And I know I'm crazy. I know most people would put this one all the way at the bottom of a list like this, but just for the sheer challenge of it, I'm putting it this high. If you ever given Bus Depot a fair shot, you know it's a challenge. It's a hard map just to get to round 30 on. There's no pack-a-punch and there's no perks, so you're on your own on this one. They were going for a little bit of the Nocturne token, but in Black Ops 2, and I think they somewhat achieved it. I'm not saying it's the greatest map to ever do it, but I am a staunch defender of this map. 55 is World War II's The Shadowed Throne. This map for me is the least memorable of all the full-fledged World War II maps. It takes place in war-torn Berlin.
This is the highest round.
Berlin has lots of tight corridors. There's rubble and debris everywhere. Making it pretty difficult to navigate when you're dealing with all of the zombie types that this game throws at you. I do think it's the least visually interesting out of all the World War II maps. I do like all the different melee weapons that this map throws at you. Basically all around the map, there's different melee weapons that all have unique ways of using them that you can pick up. A lot of the Easter eggs tied to getting melee weapons and upgrading them and getting new melee weapons. It's relatively interesting. There's a lot of very annoying, tedious Easter egg steps that make this one of the most frustrating Easter eggs to do in all of Call of Duty Zombies. Although for me, I don't absolutely hate the concept of this map. It's just, in the grand scheme of zombies, I would consider the medium zombies map to be, a great gaming experience. And this one, when compared to the rest, just happens to fall well below the median. Number 54 is the Frozen Dawn, World War II's final zombie map. You would think the zombies map set in hellish, demonic landscape in Antarctica would be visually stunning. The Frozen Dawn completely misses the mark in the aesthetic department. As you're navigating around this map, you open one door, you're in the ice caves. You open the next door, you're in the ice caves. Everything looks the same. The layout is tight and confusing. It's not entirely bad though. There are a few areas of the map that sort of pique your interest and make you wonder what's going on beneath the surface. At the end of the day though, I feel like Frozen Dawn is just a map that has not clicked with me. It's just never been a map that I wanted to learn more about. It's never been a map that I'm like, I wonder how the Easter egg works on this map. They take a big swing here with this map as far as the location and the setting that they're shooting for. But then visually, the map doesn't live up to the setting. I mean, just look at these teleporter animations where you're meant to be going down underneath the map into like the bloody underground pack-a-punch area. But this is the animation they have. Leave me with the feeling that this is some sort of cheap endeavor. It's a little bit of the dollar store Call of Duty Zombies map. I've played modded Zombies maps made by individual people of the community that look nicer than this one. And so ultimately, I just can't put it very high on the list. 53 is Carrier from Advanced Warfare. In this section of the video, we are just kind of ping-ponging between Exo Zombies and World War II Zombies. We're back to an Exo Zombies map here. This map is literally a step above the other two Exo Zombies maps that we've already talked about. This one plays out on an aircraft carrier that has been overrun by zombies, which to me is just a slightly more interesting place for a game of zombies. It beats the generic futuristic facility of Outbreak, or just the pure darkness of the infection sewers. This one, you got a little color. Each room stands out a bit from the last, but at the end of the day, we're still playing Exo Zombies. You still have to pack-a-punch your gun 20 times if you want to maximize your damage on it, which is a feature of Exo Zombies that I haven't mentioned yet, but absolutely just turns me off from wanting to play this. I do like the little rounds where you have to go and you use the bomb. That it gets your heart racing a little bit, but you still have the infected zombies from the first two maps, which I honestly don't hate as like a one-off zombie type, as a one-off, like, okay, this is one map and we deal with the infected. If you get hit, you have to run to the decontamination zone, fine. But by the third map, and spoiler alert, the infected zombies are also on the fourth map. I'm just bored of it. I think it's an annoying round pretty much every single time. It's not something that I really enjoy. It didn't need to be in every single map of this game. I know that there is some people that really love Carrier. Not one of those people. 52, we gotta hit the ping pong ball one more time because it's going back to World War II, baby. 52 is the Darkest Shore. The Darkest Shore, unlike every map that we've talked about, has a little bit of the it factor. The it factor is something that I'll bring up throughout the rest of this list. A zombies map with it factor is a zombies map where the concept itself piques your interest enough to where you just have to play that map to see what it looks like for yourself. I think the Darkest Shore does have just a little bit of that it factor. You spawn in on the beaches of Normandy with a horde of zombies running straight at you. If somebody pitched it to you, you'd be like, okay, I can kind of get behind this. It's an interesting concept. This map continues to lean in to the horror elements of the Final Reich, whereas by the end of the World War II cycle, I think that they kind of veered away from the horror a little too much. But the Darkest Shore still has that where, you know, the first time you ever had one of those spawn grounds with a giant spider zombie thing with 18 arms, you can barely catch a glimpse of them because everything is foggy. I don't know, it kind of hits. It kind of gets your heart pumping a little bit. However, it's not all good. There's a reason this map doesn't even crack the top 50. The Easter egg is obnoxious. It is very annoying, especially solo. You're still playing in World War II, which I'm just not the kind of person that's going to isolate for the game. The game that you're playing the map in is absolutely a factor for where the map is going to play. It just is what it is. The Darkest Shore at least sparks your curiosity, and that is more than you can say about a lot of the maps that we've already talked about. 51 is Die Rise, the worst full-size Treyarch zombies map. The only thing Die Rise has going for it is the Sliquifier, one of the most interesting and fun wonder weapons in all of zombies. There's nothing more satisfying than popping a zombie, watching him turn to purple goo, and then seeing his zombie friends also get popped and turned into purple goo. It's satisfying, it's great, it's wonderful. So me putting Die Rise this low is nothing against the Sliquifier. The map itself is boring. In theory, it's a fun vertical map where you use elevation. There's certain jump spots that you can do. You add the trample steam, and then you can hop over and do fun little jump spots to navigate around the map in creative ways, except it doesn't really feel like that when you're playing it. Most of the navigation on Die Rise is literally just standing there waiting for the elevator. The wall weapons on Die Rise are admittedly some of the best wall weapons in all of classic zombies. You have the PDW, the SPU, the AM94. There's so many good wall weapons that it makes hitting the mystery box almost entirely pointless. The map to me feels gimmicky. It's only fun if you have 3 other friends that you can play with and run the Easter egg on. But even then, you're gonna have your fair share of frustration. I've never been a Die Rise fan, and I don't think I ever will be. The 50th best Call of Duty Zombies map is Transit, Die Rise's bigger, older brother. Transit and Die Rise share one major thing in common, and that is the frustration that you feel when trying to navigate around the map. Transit is just so large, and so much of it has absolutely nothing of value to the player. It's just fog on fog on fog, and of course if you go into the fog, you'll get your eyes clawed out by a denizen. You're not going to be having a fun time. Pack-a-punching on Transit is the most obnoxious a pack-a-punch has ever been and will ever be. You have to set your turbine at the power station. You have to hope that the zombies don't destroy it, which in all likelihood they will, and then ride the bus all the way to the town. By that point, like I said, the turbine's probably cooked, and you got to do the whole 10-minute process of riding the bus all the way through the map just to be able to actually pack a punch. It's so annoying. It's also just incredibly frustrating that the best training spot, the place that you want to be on Transit is the town, but they didn't put a single wall weapon in the town. So you either have to leave every time you need ammo, or you have to just buy the B23R at the top of the bus and then wait for the bus to come around so that you can buy more ammo. It's annoying. It's obnoxious. It's terrible. It's probably, as far as just the sheer amount of mistakes that were made in the development of this map, probably is the #1 worst Zombies map ever made. But it's not at the bottom of the list because it's just kind of fun. I know it's terrible. I know it's obnoxious and frustrating and annoying, but it just hits if you're in the right spot with the right friend and you load it up as just something to do, something to have on in the background while you're shooting the shit. It's silly, wacky, fun, almost in a campy sense. Those of us who played Black Ops 2 during its life cycle, we all have so much nostalgia for Transit. Something about this map is prime for making good memories with your friends on. I'm convinced that there's something to it, and it's not just coincidence that we all have so much nostalgia for this map, despite it being so bad. Number 49 on the list, Moon. I'm very aware that me placing Moon as the 49th best Zombies map is a very controversial choice, but actually playing Moon is just not all that great of an experience. You have to go and find the hacker device. There's like 8 different spawns for it, and if you don't, the excavators are going to come and take away your ability to breathe in certain sections of the map. So most of the time you're going to want to have the astronaut helmet on, but you can't have the helmet and the hacker device at the same time, and also you can't hear anything whenever you have the helmet on your head, which admittedly does give it that isolated in outer space effect that they were going for, but when I'm playing a video game, I just find it kind of obnoxious. I would rather just be able to hear what's happening. The fact that you can't hear, combined with the fact that the astronaut zombie should always be lurking just around the corner, ready to headbutt you and send you back to the spawn, removing one of your perks in the process, which, if the perk that you happen to lose is Juggernaut or Speed Cola, then you have to teleport back to the Earth, which can only happen once per round, but even then, sometimes you need Jug, and then the perk you go back to Speed Cola. It's just so annoying. It's so obnoxious. There's so much about this map that frustrates me, and to me, the maps that Moon is most similar to are the 2 maps we just talked about, are Die Rise and Transit. This was essentially a 3-map stretch towards the end of the Jimmy Zielinski era of Zombies maps that, to me, are all just kind of obnoxious. They're nostalgic, they're iconic, but they're frustrating. I tend to be a solo player, so a lot of these map rankings have mainly the solo experience in mind. When you're playing a map solo, it's just you and the map. You have to face these frustrations head on. There's not that added buffer of being in a Discord call or being on Xbox Live and 2011, hanging out with your friends. That kind of lowers the frustration because you're busy chatting, you're not fully paying attention to the map. But when you play these maps solo, they're just kind of frustrating. I do think the Black Ops 3 version of Moon is actually a lot better than the Black Ops 1 version. But for the sake of this ranking video, we will be sticking to just the original map. And the original Moon, while it is iconic, while it is nostalgic, is just genuinely not that great. Number 48 is Forsaken from Black Ops Cold War. The final Zombies map from Black Ops Cold War. This map is called Forsaken because the final boss of Cold War was this giant, purple, dark, ethery creature that you had to fight at the very end of the game. All the DLCs had been pointing at this final boss, so the fact that the map was named after the boss, it kind of had the community feeling like this is going to be the final battle. This is going to be some crazy boss fight that's going to be the ultimate challenge of Cold War Zombies. And then you run through the Easter egg on this map, you get to the boss fight, and it's just super easy. You just fill up the soul box, it charges up the cannons, and then you pop the Forsaken. The map completely misses the mark for what I feel like they were going for here. On top of that, the map is very disjointed, where in order to get from area to area, you need to use the teleporters. It's not one cohesive map layout. Instead, you have different areas, and most of the different pieces of this map are actually taken from the Cold War campaign, which is not necessarily in itself maybe write the map off, but it's just a combination of everything. For me, makes this the worst map in all of Cold War Zombies. I do think the wonder weapon, the Chrysalax, is absolutely the saving grace of this map. It's a very cool hybrid of this giant pink axe, and then you can switch it into SMG mode like it's like some sort of transformer. It's very, very, very strong. One of the strongest wonder weapons ever made, but they really nailed the overall design of it. Forsaken is not the worst Zombies experience that Treyarch has ever made. It just really, really didn't live up to the expectations that were set out for this one. 47 is Firebase Z, another Cold War map. This one is in the Omega Group's research facility in the jungles of Vietnam. Firebase Z is fine. I don't really have any huge, major gripes with this map, but I also don't really have that many things I love. I think out of any full-size Treyarch map, this map makes me feel the least. I'm numb to the words Firebase Z. It doesn't make me feel anything. I do really love the Ray K. Basically, the AK version of the ray gun. It has two separate firing modes. It's kind of similar to the Ray Gun Mark III from Garage Trophy, but I think it's just so fun to use, and it's different enough to where it doesn't feel like it's a copy of it. But outside of the Ray K, there's not really a whole lot going for this map. It's fine. It's fine to load up on. You sit in the office and you grind your camos on the floor. The Easter egg is fine. It's not egregious. There is the mimic step, which always pisses me off, but I do feel like that is a little bit more of a skill issue than it is the map itself. But I will never let go of my irrational hate for that step. The final boss fight on this map versus Florida is maybe the most underwhelming boss fight that Treyarch has ever gone to. It's so easy. You just stand in the back and you pop shots on him, and he has like no HP for some reason. I don't know. Firebase Z doesn't make me feel much, but during Cold War's life cycle, I did play it a decent amount. Like, I genuinely don't hate it. I just wish it made me feel something. 46 is Liberty Falls, kind of similar to Firebase Z. This is just a map that doesn't make me feel anything. The Black Ops 6 version of the same sort of thing, where, you know, it's a zombies map. It's in like an American town. It's fine. It's the map you go on to grind the camos because it's small, and it has a very quick, a very easy setup. Liberty Falls does have a lot more side Easter eggs, a lot more little things you can do on the map, more than a Firebase Z, more than pretty much anything. But I think there's a real conversation here about quality versus quantity, where this is the first Black Ops 6 map we're talking about. The way that the side Easter eggs work in Black Ops 6 to me just feel a little soulless. They're so formulaic. A lot of them across all of the maps of Black Ops 6 all kind of feel very similar. You know, you have shootable Easter eggs. You have one that might give you an ether tool. You have one that might give you a crystal. To me, I could almost see the team at Treyarch at their board meeting discussing the side Easter eggs for each map. Like, okay, we need to put the double points in a spot that the player is gonna want to get it to be able to farm points on the early rounds. We need to put the insta kill in a convenient spot so that during this difficult Easter egg step, the player that knows about the insta kill can use it to get through it. I like the intentionality here, but I just feel like the original appeal of Easter eggs, the original appeal of there being something extra that the player has to go and discover that just isn't put directly in your face by the developer. I just feel like originally these Easter eggs had such a mystery and had such a feeling that the developers could take this in any direction. If you look around any corner, any part of the map could be some sort of Easter egg. In this, it just feels too formulaic. It's hard for me to entirely articulate why I feel this way, but I feel very similarly about this sort of thing on all the Black Ops 6 maps. Number 45 is Descent, the final Exo Zombies map, and the absolute highest that I ever would be willing to put an Exo Zombies map. Descent has a little bit of the it factor that I was talking about earlier. There's a little bit of intrigue. You start off at the top of this giant building, you jump down, and boom, you're underwater. It's a cool premise. Put a Zombies map underwater is a little bit of a vibe. A certain round pause, the map's major enemy teleports the player into an otherwise inaccessible room, and you have to fight him in certain ways. It's kind of cool. I do really like this stuff around. I think it's very fun and interesting. It kind of makes it so you have to get set up. You have different checkpoints where you need to be set up by a certain point. By the third or fourth Oz round, you want to make sure that you have Jug, that you have, you know, a somewhat decent weapon. I really like it as like a one-off zombie round. The Easter egg on this map is really cool. The wonder weapon on the map is the Trident. You shoot the bolts and it bounces off the walls. Go hit off the ceiling, the floor, the wall, into the zombie, into the other zombie, back on the ceiling, back on a zombie. It's cool. It bounces around. Some other gun that makes the bullets bounce around is just cool to me. And I'm telling you, an Exo Zombies map in the top 45 means that the map itself is pretty damn good. Number 44 is the Tomb, another Black Ops 6 map. The two early Black Ops 6 maps are the two smallest Black Ops 6 maps. They're the ones with the overall least amount of content. I don't hate the Tomb as much as everybody else hated the Tomb on launch. Like, I think it's fine. I think the problem was this map was sort of teased as it's in the excavation site in northern France. And when you tell a zombie player that the map's going to be in the excavation site in northern France, you know, people are thinking origins. And then you also show the ice staff. People were just bound to be disappointed by this one. It's also kind of weird that they just brought the ice staff back. I think if you're going to bring one staff back, you should probably just bring all four of them. The map is very small where you kind of just have like a circle with four teleporters that all teleport you into the Dark Panther area. I would say that it is short and sweet. Very simple Easter egg. A challenging wonder weapon quest. I like that it's a bit of a challenge to get the ice staff. I've definitely failed it my fair share of times. And while the Easter egg itself is very short, you can get to the boss fight very quickly. The boss fight, however, is an entirely different beast. The final boss on this map is versus the Sentinel artifact. This thing will take you a few times, especially in solo, to be able to beat. I personally really like the challenge of the Tomb boss fight. There's also the gold armor Easter egg, which is probably the coolest, most interesting side Easter egg in all of Black Ops 6, I would say. When it's all said and done, I found the Tomb to be an enjoyable zombies map. Will I be going back to it consistently, let's say like 5 years from now? Probably not, but there's nothing here that's appalling, and there's nothing here that's warranted the amount of hate that that map got. Number 43 is Shino Numa from Call of Duty Vanguard, though. This one is an out there pick. This is by far the best thing they made in Call of Duty Vanguard, and it's not close. I really enjoyed this map. Now, admittedly, I have not played it in a few years. Vanguard has been long deleted from my PC. I'm not going to waste like 150 gigabytes just to play this one map, because it really was the only thing I liked on that game. Shino Numa Vanguard was actually a pretty cool remaster of Shino Numa, where it has an extra area. It has an entire fleshed out Easter egg. It has a little wonder weapon quest, which sure, you're just getting the Wonder Wop, but you know, it makes sense. The first map to ever have a wonder weapon was Shino Numa with the Wonder Wop. So that gun, in my head, is closely correlated with that map. In Vanguard, Shino Numa has an entirely different feel than it does on any other version of Shino Numa. Not just from an aesthetic perspective, now the map takes place at night. It has that demonic Vanguard feel to it, which I genuinely don't hate the artistic direction that Vanguard went in. The issue with the other Vanguard maps was more of from a gameplay perspective than an artistic one. This map kind of landed the plane from a gameplay perspective. Some of the little micro decisions that were made in Vanguard, the way the altar of covenants worked, where you could get different upgrades on your person, you kind of had to choose a build that you wanted for the game. A lot of those decisions weren't bad. The issue was always the objective nature of the mode. And so when they made a map that was actually round-based, that actually was more of a classic map situation, and it's kind of good. It's kind of a good map. Every so often I think about that map and I'm like, damn, what if all of Vanguard was like this? 42 is Ascension. If there's one thing Ascension has, it's space. You have space on space on space. And when you make a zombies map with so much space in it to work around it, what you get is a very, very, very easy zombies map. This is one of the easiest easiest maps ever made. It is so easy to run up by the lunar lander pad, running giant trains, hoarding the zombies up, and of course you have the return of the Thunder Gun on this map, one of the strongest wonder weapons, one of the most forgiving wonder weapons to use in all of zombies. Even if you're so bad that you manage to get yourself stuck, that you manage to get yourself in a bad situation, which bad situations on Ascension are few and far between. Even if you do get into one, you just shoot your Thunder Gun, boom, all of the zombies are dead. This map is so easy. Is making an easy zombies map the worst thing in the world? No, especially not in, 2011 when this map came out. It made sense for the time. A lot of people were really bad at zombies. You might as well make a map that, people can play and people can learn the game on. It's just playing it in, 2026 as a full-on adult. It's like, okay, this is really boring. The map did add a lot of things to zombies. It had the first Easter egg quest. It had 2 new perks that are still in the game today. It's Stamina Up and PhD. That is Gersh Device and the Troishka dolls and those godforsaken monkeys that always steal your perks. I'm so bad at dealing with the monkeys. It's such an issue. Ascension's not a map that I'm itching to play very often. I acknowledge its place in zombies history. I understand why people like it. It's not for me. That's why it's sitting at 42. 41, we've reached what I'm gonna call the urge to play line. Every map above this line are maps that I frequently get the urge to play. Maps that I frequently think about. When I'm laying in bed awake at night, these maps are popping into my brain. You could also call that line the Shino Numa line, because at number 41, we do have the OG Shino Numa. Personally, I am a fan of World of War. I love the arcadey challenge of the mode. It's very janky. Not everybody loves that jank, but I admit it, I love that jank. I love how much different it feels to group up the zombies in World of War than in any other zombie game ever. It makes the game challenging. Loading up and getting to round 30 on World of War, it can be very difficult, even to this day, except on Shino Numa. Shino Numa is the easiest map in all of World of War. In fact, if you want to reach a very, very high round, there's no better map in the history of zombies than World of War Shino Numa. That is because in solo, there is a maximum of 24 zombies per round on the first 3 World of War maps. That includes Shino Numa. However, Shino Numa, unlike the first 2 maps, Shino Numa has a wonder weapon that can kill up to 10 zombies at once. Basically meaning you can get through a round with just 3 shots. And when you have a dog round every 5 to 6 rounds, you are guaranteed to never run out of wonder weapon ammo. So if you find the grooves, if you find the train underneath the flogger trap, this map is very, very easy. Sometimes you just want to go to a really high round. Sometimes you don't want the challenge, and that's why I get the urge to play Shino Numa. Shino Numa is the first map to do so many different things. It is the first map to have Hellhound. It is the first map to have a wonder weapon that isn't just a ray gun. It is the first map to ever have the zombies crew that we obviously came to know and love. Shino Numa is one of the most important maps for the evolution of zombies. It's iconic, but it doesn't quite compare to the rest of World of War for me. Number 40 is Alpha Omega, our first Black Ops 4 Zombies map. This one is, of course, a reimagine of Nuketown zombies from Black Ops 2. I think Alpha Omega, out of all the Black Ops 4 maps, is the one that I'm most indifferent for. It's the one that I feel the least whenever I play. I'm someone who loves Black Ops 4 Zombies on the whole, and so even the worst map on that game isn't a map that I strongly dislike. It's just out of all of the Black Ops 4 maps, it's not one that gets me up out of bed. The wonder weapon on this map are variants of the Ray Gun Mark II. They brought back the Galvanuckles. You have Rushmore, who is a, he's a silly, wacky character. He's a fun virtual intelligence that navigates you through the Easter egg. The final boss fight is versus the Avogadro from Transit, which is a cool full circle moment where at the end of the Alpha Omega Easter egg, we send the Avogadro to Transit. I definitely don't hate everything about this map. I definitely don't hate it as much as I would think most people do, but I do have to acknowledge the map's flaws. I think color-wise, I think the artistic choices on this map were the worst in all of Black Ops 4. There was a lot of beautiful maps in that game. Alpha Omega is just not one of them. The ventilation system, the fact that the Pack-a-Punch turns off every few rounds, and you have to stand at the valve and slowly turn it while a bunch of new zombies spawn in and try to slap you while you're just standing perfectly still, is obnoxious. It's kind of like the Templar rounds from Origins, except except done entirely wrong. It doesn't make for, you know, riveting, exciting moments where you're trying to run all the way across the map to try to save Pack-a-Punch. No, this is you standing in one spot, completely still, while you get your butt slapped by a horde of zombies. It's not fun. It's obnoxious. This map has its flaws. It's why it's number 40. Moving on to the latest addition to Call of Duty Zombies. At number 39, we have Astra Malora. At the time of recording this map has not been out for very long. This is very much still just my first impressions. The newer a map is, the more variability it has, the more it could move up and down this list over the course of the next year or two. But I'm not head over heels for Astra Malora. I really felt good about where Black Ops 7 Zombies was after Ashes of the Dam, and I wouldn't say that Astra Malora has turned me off to Black Ops 7 entirely. I just think that it is a bit of a step down from Ashes of the Dam. This is essentially the Call of Duty Zombies space map, where the map takes place in outer space. It has a very interesting, colorful aesthetic that I can't really get behind. The main boss enemy of the map, Oscar, I think is really well done. There's multiple different ways of dealing with him. You could either pour bullets into him to eventually chip him down and take him out, or if you see Oscar in an area, you can kind of just play in a different area. I like that he himself is not necessarily that big of a threat, but if he hits you, he powers up the zombies, and shit gets real very quickly. It's kind of an interesting design for an enemy. But my gripes with this map are in the Easter egg, where you have to kill Oscar 3 different ways just to be able to get the Wonder Weapon, and then you need yet another Oscar after that to continue on the Easter egg. I would say the steps leading to the boss fight are not very exciting. However, the teleporter into Mars and tying that into Shang, it is somewhat interesting. It does all lead to a pretty epic boss fight versus Caltheris, this kind of giant rock monster entity that continues to get more and more powerful as the fight goes on. I think this is the first time in Black Ops 7 Zombies that the wall jumping is actually a relevant, important mechanic. Because of the anti-grav, because Caltheris has different ground attacks, you kind of want to try to stay in the air as much as possible, meaning you're kind of hopping from one wall to the next. I find the boss fight to be pretty fun. I think my biggest disappointment with the map is the Wonder Weapon. The LGM-1 seems super cool, where it shoots out UFO flying saucers that swarm around an enemy. You can put 3 of them out at a time, or 6 of them if you have a Pack-a-Punch, and they all swarm around the enemy and do very powerful focused fire. It's just not actually all that good. It's definitely not a good weapon versus the zombies themselves, you know, because you're only kind of doing damage to one target at a time. Compared to even just a regular bullet weapon, you're not going to be killing very many zombies. It is a little bit better versus Oscar, and I guess it's somewhat decent in the boss fight itself, but in its current state, I think this Wonder Weapon definitely needs some sort of buff. I do enjoy Astra Malora, I just don't think it's the cream of the crop when it comes to zombies maps. 38 is the Machine, the launch map of Black Ops Cold War. This is the map that introduces us to all of the changes that take place in Cold War. The new loadout system, the new crafting system, the salvage that lets you craft lethals, tacticals, score streaks, the new way that perks work, where now you can upgrade your perks in the menus to make them better once you actually hop into the game. When I think of all of those changes to Cold War, my head goes straight to the Machine, obviously because this is the first map that we could actually play with those changes. Low-key, the biggest change, however, was the addition of armor, which essentially changed the way breakpoints work in zombies, meaning the player now has a lot more HP. Not only do you still have the classic perk Juggernog that gives you more HP, but now you have bonus armor on top of that. It just fundamentally changes the way zombies work, because now the zombies are programmed to just fly at you as fast as possible, because if they weren't hyper aggressive, then the game would be too easy. They had to make the enemies just absolutely swarm you to compensate for the fact that you have so much HP. And it's no secret that I'm not a big fan of these overall changes that are still in modern zombies. They carried over into Black Ops 6 and Black Ops 7. This is the first map where we ever saw that. The map itself is relatively cozy. You spawn just outside a very familiar place where Nocturne Totem is kind of the centerpiece of the whole map. I do wish the dark ether of it all, the dark ether mode that you go into in the Machine, I wish it played a bigger role in the overall gameplay of the map. The Wonder Weapon, the die, is a little on the underwhelming side. I think a lot of people's praise of this map is similar to people's praises of Keynote or Toad, where a lot of us have good memories of learning the new game on, but once you kind of take a step back and look at the whole picture, it's not actually that great of a map. 37 is Terminus, the other of the two Black Ops 6 launch maps. This one, compared to Liberty Falls, definitely is in a much more interesting setting, taking place in a group of islands in the Philippine Sea. This is where the four main characters of Black Ops 6 essentially were imprisoned for years, and then at the start of Terminus they make their escape, and then the events of Black Ops 6 take place. I was pretty excited for Terminus before its release, but I don't think it necessarily lived up to the potential of what it could have been. Terminus is a very large map, lots of different islands that you can ride the boat around and really take control and go wherever you want to be. The problem is a lot of the space on the map is actually pretty hollow. To me, Terminus almost feels a little outbreaky, like Cold War Outbreak, where sure, it's a big map, sure, it's a big playground, you can kill zombies anywhere in the giant circumference of this map, but a lot of it is just hollow and there's not much going on. There's not many times where you're actually playing around out at the different various islands of Terminus. I do think the boss fight on this map against Patient 13, the giant Kraken, is a huge spectacle, and I think it's one of the best parts about this map. I think that's kind of the theme though of a lot of these Black Ops 6 maps, where I'm not the biggest fan of the map itself, but the Easter eggs relatively good, and then they just nailed the boss fight out of the park. Terminus is the first example of that. Next up is Tagged or Totem, Black Ops 4's reimagined version of Call of the Dead, the final map of the original Ether story, basically the ending of the zombie storyline until the other games that they made after it. Tagged or Totem is a very laid back and chill map compared to the rest of Black Ops 4 Zombies. Each Easter egg step flows seamlessly into the next, and nothing is ever too hard where you feel like you're bashing your head against the wall. The quest on this map tells the story of the ending to the Ether storyline in a fascinating way, to where as you get closer and closer to finishing this Easter egg, you can feel the build-up, you can feel the final fight coming before the final boss fight, which isn't really a boss fight. Obviously, there's no real boss, but instead you have this really interesting final encounter where you have to essentially stay within a small zone as you walk through the entire map, while everything that once was ice has now been turned into lava. This final encounter is challenging, it's exciting. If you've never done it, I'm telling you, it makes your palms sweaty, it gets you a little nervous. I do like Tag. I think it's a really beautiful map. I think like a lot of the other Black Ops 4 reimagined maps, it does a good job of feeling like an entirely new map. Personally, I'm not somebody that's against a remastered map, especially the way the Black Ops 4 does it. How they did the remasters in this game is they took the original map and they made it into something entirely new, something that doesn't feel like the original at all, where there is now new areas, the entire flow of the way the map works is just entirely different. So most of these reimagined maps are relatively high on my list. I like Tagged or Totem. It's not the greatest thing I've ever played in the world. It is a little disappointing that we're playing as the goddamn transit crew in the final map of the entire zombie storyline. It's a little underwhelming, but if you're able to kind of ignore that piece of context, the map itself as just a modern version of Call of the Dead, I think it really works. 35 is Grosston House from World War II. If you've never played this, what this is this tiny little isolated survival map in Call of Duty World War II. No, I haven't gone crazy though. This map is good. This map is genuinely one of the best survival maps that has ever existed in Call of Duty. It is very small. It's one of the smallest maps. To be honest, it might be the smallest map. It's definitely smaller than Nocturne and Totem. On the surface, all the map is a little house with 3 wall weapons, a place to buy armor, and a Wonder Fizz random perk machine, and that's it. But there are secrets to uncover about this map. If you peer through this door in the upstairs of the house, you will see our familiar friend sitting in there as the mystery box. In order order to get inside, you need to go around the map and shoot all 12 of these lanterns that are hidden. Once you shoot them all, the door will open up and you can actually use the mystery box, giving you more of a chance at survival. But it doesn't just stop there, because while you're hitting the box, you're going to pull a jack-in-the-box, which are basically the monkey bombs of World War II zombies. You toss the jack-in-the-box up here on the structure of the ceiling. It's going to knock down a card. Then all you gotta do is save up $10,000, cash it into this piano, and then from that point on, every single gun you get out of the mystery box from that point will be Pack-a-Punch. And this is just so cool to me. This is like ideal survival map. This is what I want out of a survival map. It's like the perfect combination. If you've learned the little Easter egg on this map, you will actually have a fighting chance versus the zombies on this small map. Survival maps ideally are good to hop in, kind of learn the game, learn the different weapons. Well, this gives you a way to get straight into it and try out every Pack-a-Punch World War II weapon for the first time very quickly without needing to actually Pack-a-Punch it yourself. And you need the extra firepower. This map is very difficult. This map is so small and confined and tight. It's hard just to get to round 25, let alone anything higher than that. This Easter egg makes surviving possible. I like it. I think it's the perfect formula for a survival map. And had this map came out in pretty much any Treyarch Zombies game, and within any other system of zombies, this genuinely might be a top 10 map of all time. I like it that much, but because it's in World War II, it ends up at number 35. 34 is Nuketown Zombies. What can I say? I like me some Nuketown Zombies. I enjoy a good, challenging survival map. What can I say? I didn't always love Nuketown. If you go back on this channel and look at my old rankings, I'm pretty sure I had Nuketown very low. It really has grown on me, though. The challenge of Nuketown is that it is very small. There is not a lot of room to train the zombies up. The perks and the Pack-a-Punch all drop at random times, so every game feels a little different. Some games you might not get Juggernog until like round 15. One game you might get Pack-a-Punch really early, so you might have very strong weapons, but you don't have Jug yet, so actually managing to stay alive is not easy. Nuketown is small enough and tight enough that I am constantly getting the urge. If I ever just want to go and play some good old Black Ops 2 zombies, and I just want to get straight into the action, Nuketown is one of the first places my head goes. It's just a fun map, guys. 33 is the Final Reich, the launch map of World War II Zombies. The only World War II Zombies map in the top 50, let alone almost cracking the top 30. The Final Reich is a really mixed bag. There are things that I really love about this map. The 4 variants of the Wonder Weapon, the horror elements create a very interesting atmosphere. The fact that there is both an easy Easter egg and a difficult, challenging first war one. I really like how they pair together. You got the easy Easter egg for a casual player, but a more complicated, a much more difficult one for those of us diehard fans. And let me tell you, that Easter egg is not very easy solo. I beat it recently on the channel. It was some back-breaking work. It took some blood, sweat, and tears to get through that thing. There's a lot to love here, but the problem is there's also a lot that I hate. I hate the special enemies in the game. There's just so many different zombie types that the game throws at you. The flamethrower guy, the chainsaw guy, the pest that just swarm you. So many different enemies there are quite a few different tedious Easter egg steps. Pretty much every step of the Easter egg, you got to carry a battery that you move 2 miles an hour with. You have to pick it up and slowly cruise across the entire map. It is very annoying. There have been some maps on the list that make me feel nothing. The Final Reich makes me feel decent. That video that I made, there were some very low moments, some very frustrating, down in the dumps moments, but there were also some very high moments of pure bliss. I do wish the rest of World War II stacked up to the Final Reich, because this one is definitely an interesting map to talk about. Then we have number 32, Citadel des Morts. On paper, Citadel is a great zombie. There's 4 different elemental wonder weapons in the sword. You have the classic castle setting that has seen some success before in zombies. You have the very bombastic, larger-than-life boss fight versus that giant-ass statue at the end. But to me, it just doesn't quite land as much as I wanted to. The sword, while there are 4 different types, the main way to use the sword is just to swing on the zombies. It's the same for every single one of the swords. The abilities that each of these swords have ends up taking a back seat to just swinging the sword, which is strange. Maybe I'm just not as high on the castle setting in zombies as everybody else seems to be. Not to spoil my placement of a certain other castle zombies map, but that one's not going to be quite as high as everybody else seems to put it. I wish that the map really took you through the different areas of the castle. Citadel des Morts honestly feels more like a sewers map than it does a castle map. It's like half the time you're spending underground, the other half you're spending out in front of the castle in the little town. The castle itself doesn't really have like a grand feeling to it. It doesn't feel super alive. It doesn't feel like it's an incredible castle. It feels more like you're going on a family vacation to the castle, and you're like, oh yeah, I can imagine how this place felt once upon a time. But when I'm playing a video game, I would like it to feel alive right now in the game. It goes without saying that Citadel, along with every other modern zombies map, suffers from the same ailment, and that is that all of these maps sort of play the same. They sort of have the same feel from a gameplay perspective. It's all about getting set up, it's all about getting your loadout upgraded, getting all the salvage, all the points you need, grinding out and buying every single perk. The gameplay of all of these maps in Black Ops 6, it tends to be formulaic. It tends to be the same old. And so the peak of what a modern zombies map could be for me is just not all that high. I've seen people compare Citadel to to one of the classic maps, and for me, I just think we're comparing apples to oranges. This map is in an entirely different league. 31 is Shangri-La. The map is set in this exotic jungle. It's most known for its tight layout and variety of different enemies, making the map one of the most challenging zombie maps in all of Call of Duty. It's not easy to complete the Easter egg on this map. It's not easy to go for high rounds on this map. It's not easy to go for low rounds on this map. Just getting around 15 could be a challenge because of how tight everything is. You get stuck in those underground caves that feel almost like a labyrinth down there, with the shrieker zombies screeching in your face, or the fire zombie blowing up next to you is almost a guaranteed death. Shangri-La is a map that most zombie players have a strong opinion about. Either they hate it or they love it, and not really much in between. I tend to be more on the side that finds this one to be enjoyable. Not a map that I'm playing super regularly, but I find it to be such a unique experience in the grand scheme of zombies that I do find myself coming back to this one. Number 30 is Beast from Beyond, the final DLC map of the Infinite Warfare. I know I'm putting this map so much higher than anybody else would put this, but I kind of like playing Beast from Beyond. It's pretty goddamn fun. There are kind of 2 major ideas about what this map is that kind of meld together. One part is it is the Extinction Zombies map. It takes the aliens from Extinction and puts them in zombies, sort of tying the 2 stories together. And then secondly, this map is kind of a melting pot of all of the previous Infinite Warfare zombie maps, where you actually get to play in the theater where the Pack-a-Punch room on every other map looks down in. The special rounds on this map are a hodgepodge, just an entire mix of all the different enemies, where you have clowns, you have the Kung Fu zombies, slasher zombies from Raven the Redwood start spawning at a certain point. And I think that the 2 separate ideas, the Extinction and the melting pot of Infinite Warfare, the 2 ideas don't necessarily come together in a cohesive package, but ultimately at the end of the day, a lot of these rankings for me just come down to which map do I prefer playing. And Beast from Beyond is super goddamn fun. It is very challenging right off the rip when you're fighting those extinction aliens. You do kind of have to be in the know to know where the real pet is, where to go and find alien zombies. But once you actually get to the zombie portion of this map, I'm telling you, it's a pretty fun map. I do find the Easter egg in this map to be really fun. I like the final boss, which is basically just an absolute bloodbath of aliens. The game throws all different kinds of aliens, throws them at you in different ways throughout the stages of this fight. I do enjoy the space theme of this map, but ultimately the main reason why this map is so high is just because I like Infinite Warfare. For me, the worst Infinite Warfare Zombies map is still a top 30 map of all time, because ultimately this mode is just a whole lot of fun. Number 29 is 9. 9 takes place in a gladiatorial arena set in the Roman Empire. This launch map of Black Ops 4 definitely has that it factor that I was talking about earlier. The concept of this map is compelling. Our 4 characters of the Chaos story that is introduced to us on the map 9. They're basically thrown into this coliseum with thousands of people watching us as we fight the zombies. 9 is kind of the core Black Ops 4 map, where each of the 4 perks in Black Ops 4 are tied to a different god, and this map presents the structure of the game in a very clear way, where there's essentially the 4 different temples that are all tied to each of the 4 gods that correspond to one of your perks. The Easter egg is also very tied to this concept, where in order to complete the Easter egg, you basically have to appease each of those 4 gods, and then the final boss fight versus the giant goddamn elephant. You have to beat 2 of those bad boys to finish the map off. It's a larger-than-life zombies map. It feels very grand, grander than maybe any other map in zombies history. It's hard not to enjoy this map. My major gripe with it, and honestly the main reason why it actually is below most of the other Black Ops 4 maps, is it just spams you with all the different bosses. The map never gives you a second to breathe and just shoot zombies, because this map introduces us to the 4 elemental zombie types that are littered throughout the Chaos story. This map has brawlers, this map has gladiators, this map has the Blightfather, which is an absolute bullet sponge. This map also replaces the classic Hellhound with tigers. I think a big turnoff for me in zombies is when maps become less about shooting zombies and more about shooting other creations that the map maker has made. And that for me is the main reason this map doesn't make it much higher. Number 28 is Raids in the Redwoods. Every map in Infinite Warfare Zombies is tied to a certain movie genre. Raids in the Redwoods, the first DLC of Infinite Warfare, has slasher film written all over it. The main boss in this map is a slasher that just runs at you with a chainsaw, almost like it's something straight out of Friday the 13th. The map takes place at a campsite that I guess it was supposed to be like a rave party that could not have gone worse for the campers. It is basically the classic setup to a slasher film. Like a slasher film, it is very campy, it is very silly, it doesn't take itself too seriously, which I really do appreciate about all of Infinite Warfare. The wonder weapon on this map is like an automatic crossbow. You can upgrade it 4 different ways based off of which campsite you use it at. Each effect that you can put on it is good. It's like classic good zombie stuff right here. A fun boss fight at the end, just an overall very interesting aesthetic. Rave is a silly zombies map that's always a fun time. 27 is Shattered Vale from Black Ops 6. Shattered Vale was a step up from the previous Black Ops 6 map. It's set in this giant mansion that looks over Liberty Falls. Honestly, this map was a very pleasant surprise for me. I was not anticipating to enjoy it as much as I did. The Easter egg on this map is a little bit of a collectathon, but in a way that's like, oh yeah, there's so many different things to uncover about this mansion. There's 3 different ray gun Mark IIs that you could unlock that are all very unique and all have their own place in the meta of the game. And then Black Ops 6 delivers yet again and has a really well done boss fight where the T-Rex that's been center stage slapping you in the face right when you walk in the mansion comes to life and you have to fight it in order to finish off the Easter egg. It just is a map that I enjoy much more than most other modern zombie maps. 26 is Mauer der Toten, the highest rated Cold War zombies map. By the time Mauer der Toten came out, I had kind of lost interest in anything that was happening in Cold War zombies. But this map came out and it brought me back in. To me, this map is just way better than anything else they released in Cold War. It has a complex layout where you can zip line across the roofs or fight zombies on the streets themselves, or you can go into the underground where the train is, where you uncover Klaus for the first time. It's a pretty good layout for a map. The wonder weapon on this map, the Cerberus, I thoroughly enjoy. I think when it was all said and done, it was my most used weapon in all of Cold War. Like, I had more kills with the Cerberus than any other weapon in Cold War. The Cerberus is just a really damn good pistol with a little bit of a personality attached to it. You can also pick up different variants for the weapon, although the variants were always worse than the default one. It was just kind of a way to get a little bit of extra ammo, let's be honest. Final boss fight against Valentina was my favorite boss fight out of any of the round-based Cold War maps. I think this map also brought just a little bit of that creepy atmosphere that had severely been lacking in the rest of Cold War. Power Token's pretty good. I think it's definitely one of the best zombie maps that have come out in recent years. Just cracking the top 25 zombie maps of all time, we have Black Ops 3's Revelation. In a sense, Revelation is a celebration of all of Call of Duty Zombies up until this point. It is the true melting pot of Call of Duty Zombies, where the map is made up of parts of 8 different zombie maps from a variety of different Call of Duty games. I knew that I was very hyped up for this sort of idea, and for me, Revelations delivered. I know some people look at this as more of a gimmick, and they don't feel like it 100% works, but I like it. Similar to like Cold War Forsaken that we talked about earlier, to navigate around the map, you have to use teleporters or jump pads. Each section of the map is kind of its own separate thing, and it does feel very disjointed, almost as if it's held together by tape. But narratively, it does kind of fit the story. It makes sense that it would be this way. People say that Revelations has no new ideas, because not only do you only have 2 new areas, the spawn and the Apothecary Valley, but both of the wonder weapons on this map have been seen before in Zombies, with the Thunder Gun and the Apothecary Servant. It also pulls the shield from Duran Trophy, it pulls the Ragnarok from the Risendrock. To me, that's exactly what Revelations does that has never been done before. It brings these elements from all of these different maps and blends them together. That makes the map unique. Revelations is a unique map. There's no map that feels like Revelations when you're playing it, despite the fact that you might technically be in the Origins tunnels or, the Mob of the Dead cafeteria. It doesn't come close to feeling like those maps. I do think where they missed the mark, though, is the overall power level of the player. Because you have the Apothecary Servant, because you have all of these crazy, overpowered tools from all of these different maps, it does make the gameplay very easy. They tried to compensate for that by having 2 different major boss enemies in the Panzer Soldat and the Margwas, but the Thunder Gun handles both of these enemy types so easily that it's not actually a challenge whatsoever. The Easter egg on this map is infamous for having some ridiculous convoluted steps. It took the community longer to solve the Revelations Easter egg than any other Easter egg in Zombies history. There's a lot of minuscule finding a tiny rock here. It is a little ridiculous, but I will say that on a replay after the map being out for years, it's a relatively easy Easter egg to do, which I do think is a winning formula for an Easter egg. One that's hard to solve, but easy to replicate. I think they went a little extreme on the hard to solve aspect of that. The boss fight is kind of a rehash of the Shadow Man boss fight from Shadows of Evil, which already was a little on the underwhelming side. I know I just listed quite a few little things that are wrong with this map, but that just goes to show that I really like the concept of this. I don't know, maybe I am just a little too into the gimmick of putting all of the zombie maps in one Zombies map, but I like it. I think it's a fun concept that, for me, has a lot of that it factor, and at the end of the day, it's just a pretty fun map. Number 24, Challenge Shuffle. This is the Kung Fu map set in the streets and underground areas of Staten Island in New York. Yet another Infinite Warfare Zombies map that does not take itself seriously. The Easter egg on this map is a little convoluted, a little over the top, but not enough to make me dislike this map. I can't help it. When I play Challenge Shuffle, I tend to have progressing through silly step after silly step on this map is just fun. As you slowly learn more and more about the Rat King, and he gains more and more special moves as you play through the Easter egg, that by the end of it, by the time you're actually ready for the boss fight, the Rat King is a full-on menace where he has several different attacks, and then the boss fight just takes a quick left turn, and it has 3 separate challenges. That is just not what you would expect the boss fight to be based off the rest of the Easter egg. I like the Kung Fu abilities that are on this map. You start off with one Kung Fu ability, you get a certain amount of kills with that ability, then you unlock the next one. so on and so forth, until eventually, by the end of the zombie stage, your Kung Fu is powered up and becomes a pretty decent tool for killing zombies. The wonder weapon on this map is the nunchuck, which I also just found to be an incredible melee weapon choice to fight the zombies. It's a great option to take into the boss fight. It helps you out a lot with that sewage step. This map just kind of works for me. It's in a similar spot to me as Rave. Like, it's not like a top 10 map, but it does stick the landing on almost every front. 23 is the Reckoning. Black Ops 6's final zombie. Reckoning is the best Black Ops 6 zombies map. Another one of those maps that were kind of just started on launch. And to be fair to people, by this point in
That was fun. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Some things take time to grow on. This will be quick.
Black Ops 6's life cycle, most people had written the game off. Almost every map felt the exact same. It felt like they were clearly nostalgia baiting by bringing back the 4 original characters. But the Reckoning is just a good zombies map. I find the layout of Reckoning to be incredibly interesting, where to progress through the map, you have to ping pong back and forth between the 2 different towers, using the elevators to gain height, and I think it incorporates the parachute into zombies in what ends up being a pretty fun way. The layout of the map is complex. If you're at point A and you want to quickly get to point B, you have to run a quick calculation in your head. Do I hop on over into the other building and then go up? Do I go up and then pop over? Like, you have to do some 4D chess if you want to calculate what's the fastest way to get from where you are to where you want to be. Ultimately, though, what keeps me coming back to Reckoning is that final boss fight, the one versus Richthof, and that is, sure, it might be a little unfair where Richthof is basically Iron Man and he flies around every which way and can basically insta-kill you at a moment's notice. It's addicting. It's fun to run it back. It's fun to run into that fight like a chicken with your head cut off and trying to take Richthof down. It really is a great challenge, and I find the Easter egg itself to be fun enough to where I just want to run through it over and over again to fight Richthof. Number 22 is Classified. This is Black Ops 4's rendition of 5, and this is out of all the Black Ops 4 reimagined maps, this one is most true to the original. It does have a couple new different areas. It has a new pack-a-punch sequence where now you teleport away from the Pentagon into no man's land to the moon, and that's just where the pack-a-punch is on the map. It is kind of wackadoodle. Overall, I just kind of enjoy Classified a lot. For a while, I even said that this was the better version of 5. They brought back the Wooden Cow, but buffed the damage on it, make it actually a reasonable wonder weapon to use. I love the jazzy music. That opening cutscene really gets you going to play the map. The music choices here are very similar to a Shadows of the Eagle. Ultimately, the coolest part about Classified is something that a lot of people dislike. It's the fact that in order to beat this map, in order to essentially do the Easter egg on Classified, there is only one step. There is one Easter egg step to do the entire thing, and that step is go to round 150. There is no true Easter egg. You just have to go to round 150. I love that. That's so fun. I always remember I used to speculate that maybe one day they would lock an Easter egg behind behind a certain round count. And here on this map in Black Ops 4, on the remaster of 5, that's when they did it. Now, is round 150 a little on the insane side? Sure. I feel like around 100 would make more sense. Even do round 115, do the silly zombies number. Round 150 is kind of arbitrarily high. And the major issue with this is the chance of your computer crashing if you play on PC is very, very high. I don't know how many times I've got to like round 110, round 120, and then my PC has crashed at least like 3 or 4 times. It's crazy. I just throw away like 4 or 5 hours at a time, and I get nothing back from that time loss. So I do wish it was a little bit more ironed out. But really, just because I enjoy playing the map by itself, combined with the concept of what it takes to get to the final cutscene, is making me put classified relatively high on the list. 21 is Kino der Toten. I believe Kino der Toten is the most played zombies map of all time. It is the map that the most amount of people got their start to their zombie playing career. Kino's a relatively simple map. It brings back all of the major features that World at War had been building up to throughout its life cycle. The 4 original main perks, the Pack-a-Punch Machine, the Hellhound, all the best hits, and it puts them in Black Ops 1 zombies. And Black Ops 1 was a lot smoother and is a lot more modern feeling of a game compared to World at War. I do think there is an internet phenomenon when discussing media online, where sometimes a TV show or a video game, or in this case a zombies map, is so loved for so long that naturally there starts to be this whirlpool of actually that's overrated. And I have to say it probably was overrated for a long time, but I think so many people over the past 5 to 10 years have called Kino overrated that it's almost doubled back around to where Kino is almost now underrated. Maybe we're at the perfect moment in time where Kino der Toten is properly rated. I don't know. To me, it's like the 21st best map ever made. It's a damn good map. It has a really strong atmosphere. It has one of the best, if not the best, Easter egg song ever in zombies. Obviously, this is the map that brought us the Thunder Gun. As a kid, you'd always run around the Kino der Toten stage for hours and hours and hours. It's a good map. It just has a little bit of Ascension in it, where it is on the easier side of things, but it's definitely nowhere near Ascension in that way. I think this is the most iconic zombies map, but it does just miss out in the top 20, because at number 20, we have Kino der Toten's twin brother, 5. Are they twins? I guess they came out at the same time, so I call them twins. 5 has grown on me a lot. I used to hate 5. I used to not see the vision. It took me to the year 2025 to finally see the vision on 5. This map is great. It is such a tight, challenging, small little zombies map set inside the goddamn Pentagon. This map has one of the highest hit factors of any zombies map ever. The 4 characters that you play on this map, let me read them, are Robert McNamara, John F. Kennedy, Richard Nixon, and Fidel Castro. Which the fact that these guys are in my Call of Duty Zombies map is just crazy. 15 years after the fact, I still don't think I have my mind wrapped around this. This map doesn't lag behind from a gameplay perspective either. This map is super fun and engaging just because of how challenging it is. There is no strategy you can do on this map that is going to leave you feeling super safe. The best bet is to train the zombies up in the war room, but that's only going to last you so long. Once you get to a certain round, your new best bet becomes to go back up to the spawn room and use a combination of the crossbow with the traps to try to get through the rounds. And let me tell you, that is a difficult way of playing the game. I have a goddamn zombies YouTube channel, and I've never hit round 50 on this map. Maybe one day, though. 19, Attack of the Radioactive Thing. I really got super into this map for the first time this year. And let me tell you, the people that say that this is a bad map have no idea what they're talking about. This is a great map. It checked all of the boxes for fantastic setting. This one is a spoof of like a creature feature film from the 50s, and I think Radioactive Thing really lands the vibe that it's going with. It has a great wonder weapon. It's very simple. You just pull it from the mystery box, and the upgrade on it is like the easiest upgrade ever. You just run around the map and grab a few parts, and boom, your gun is upgraded. It has an incredible boss fight that is very challenging. The boss looms over the entire map. The whole game, you're hearing him moaning and groaning in the ocean, and when you finally get a chance to fight him, the fight lives up to it. It's a good boss fight. Almost every time you hear someone complain about this map, you hear them talking about that goddamn chemical survival step. They say it's the worst Easter egg step ever made, but in my experience, I've ran through the Easter egg solo probably 5 or 6 times now. I genuinely have not struggled with this step one time, and I'm not saying it's a perfect step. It is definitely overly complicated, like don't get me wrong, but people act like you need a chemistry degree to understand what is happening. It's not that bad. It really isn't that bad. It is a map that once I fully got to know what the map was about, I wanted to keep playing it, and keep playing it, and keep playing it, and I knew that I had to put it in my top 20. You can convince me that Beast from Beyond isn't all that good, but I will die on the hill that Attack of the Radioactive Thing is a great zombie map. 18, Zetsubo no Shima. Zetsubo no Shima has a great atmosphere. It's a scary map in a different way than any other zombie map has ever done horror. Giant spiders and ugly-looking thrasher monsters on this creepy island with mutated plants everywhere. It's a really good aesthetic. The wonder weapon on this map is great. It is similar to this liquefier. It's almost as if they took this liquefier and made it not slippy anymore and replaced it by basically turning the zombies into plants. It is a fun map. Zetsubo is notorious for having a ridiculous setup process. Just to get the map open and the power switch turned on, you have to fill up your bucket 2 different times and take it to 2 different power sources to fill it up with water and actually get the whole second half of the map open. And that's not even the actual power switch. Then you gotta go, you gotta be underwater for like 20 seconds. You gotta do a whole lockdown underwater just to get the power switch on. I can get behind the setup being a little ridiculous. I also find the plant system to be annoying. I don't care. I don't want to learn all the plants. And I hate the fact that there is RNG involved. You can water a plant exactly in the way that you're supposed to water the plant to get what you want, and there's still a good chance that you're not going to get it, just because there is a good amount of RNG tied to the plant. Spider boss fight is this great, epic fight that is super fun, but it's all just to get a part to upgrade the wonder weapon. And then the actual boss fight, the actual fight to end the Easter egg, is really just run the zombies in a circle and occasionally shoot the boss with their wonder weapon, which it feels like they put all their time and energy into the spider fight instead of the other fight, which is just kind of strange. But Zetsubo is a good map. It's in Black Ops 3. I don't dislike any of the Black Ops 3 maps. This one for me is just towards the bottom. 17, Town Survival, the highest survival map on the list. I believe Town Survival is my most played map of all time. I think the Black Ops 2 Town is the best practice map of all time. I think it's the best map ever. It's loaded and just shoots some zombies. If you want to hit the mystery box, it's either right there ready to go, sitting in the alley by double tap, or it's sitting at the top of the bar behind just one door, and you can instantly start grabbing guns and trying different weapons out. If you want to pack a punch the gun, it's sitting right there, basically staring at you right when you spawn, sitting in the lava. I do like the little touch that it's in the lava and not just on solid ground. Just giving that extra little push, that extra little bit of challenge to get your gun upgraded. If you try to do it in the middle of a round and you're not very good at porting the zombies up, you're probably going to end up going down trying to pack a punch. This map has all the perks you'd want. It has the pack a punch. It is the quintessential survival formula. There's no area on the map that makes training too easy. There's no like super wide open areas. I remember always enjoying just training near the stamina machine. Also, I remember doing the strategy of going at the top of the bar, standing near the open window, so that if I ever got overrun by zombies, all I would have to do is take one step back, fall out of the bar, then I could run all the way over near the MP5 wall by and rinse and repeat from the judge room. And then I would just kind of continue that cycle of whenever I would get overrun, I would run all the way across the map. And that's where the zombie skills got developed. That's where zombie players became zombie players. Like, let's be honest. I love Town. I might be a little guided by nostalgia on this one, but I do think Town is a great map. 16 is Nocturne and Totem, the original. Dude, Nocturne and Totem is overhated. Bro, Nocturne and Totem is great. Nocturne and Totem, the first zombies map, not only does it have the great atmosphere, the sounds that come from the zombies on this map sound demonic. It doesn't sound human-like. The only map to have zombies that sound like this. If you never played the World of War version of this, it's truly something you have to try. And for the record, I am judging this off the World of War version. The Black Ops 1 version is not, to me, is considerably worse. It's not the same thing. The World of War version ticks every box as far as atmosphere goes, and people usually credit it for that, but then in the same breath, they always say that this map is boring. Bro, Nocturne Totem World at War is not a boring zombie map. Nocturne Totem is fun and challenging. It is very fast-paced. You can get to round 30 in like 20 minutes because there's only 24 zombies per round. But it doesn't make getting to round 30 easy though, because at some point you're gonna have to start hoarding the zombies up, which is not an easy thing to do on World of War. Not only do you have these janky hitboxes with the zombies that suck you in if you get hit once, Tucker and Totem is obviously just a very small map. There isn't a lot of room to work around with. There's two major training strategies you can use. One is to make big giant loops within the mystery box room. The other is to train in the spawn room over by the health store. Neither one is a foolproof strategy. They're both going to lead to an intense moment. I think Nocturne and Totem has developed a bad reputation because of all the remasters of this map, where the Black Ops 3 version is boring. I think the Black Ops 1 version compared to World of War is boring. If you want to enjoy Nox, you gotta go to the original. I'm telling you, it's a great time. Number 15, Voyage of Despair. I can't think of a more opposite map to Nocturne and Totem than Voyage of Despair. But here we go. This is the Zombies map set on the Titanic from Call of Duty Black Ops 4. Most people hate this map. I'm crazy for putting it on this team. I understand that. But at the end of the day, I really, really enjoy playing Voyage. I think the Easter egg on the map is very fun. I think it is one of the most challenging Easter eggs in all of Zombies. The boss fight at the end is sick. It's probably a top 3 boss fight for me. Fight the giant blue eye. I don't even know what's going on story-wise, but I don't care. I think it's fun. The map is set on the Titanic. I do wish there was more to the map about the actual sinking of the Titanic instead of all the crazy, wacky stuff that's going on with the chaos story. But outside of that, just playing it and taking it as what the map is, it is very, very enjoyable. I've never had a bad time with it. 14 is Call of the Dead, my highest rated Black Ops 1 Zombies map. Call of the Dead is such a unique unique Zombies map. Not only does it have a unique crew, which a lot of these maps that have unique crews on them, either I'm a sucker for, or I don't even know if it's that. I think generally the maps that have unique crews tend to be super loved by everyone. Where the map setting is at a very, very cold Siberian facility, where George Romero, the movie director that directed Night of the Living Dead, is filming a new movie, and then the actual zombies outbreak takes place, and we're playing as four of the actors from that movie. It's just a really, really unique concept for a map. I don't even have to say it, it has the it factor. George Romero gets zombified and basically becomes the main boss, the main enemy of the map, and he's basically just this huge, huge HP pool that just roams around very slowly creeping up on wherever you are, making it pretty much impossible to camp. You always have to stay on your feet, or else George Romero is going to catch up to you and mess you up. But on the bright side, he does move very slowly, so you outplay him by kind of constantly switching your position, by constantly staying on your feet. It's an interesting boss. Zombies does this thing a lot where they intentionally add an enemy to encourage a specific playstyle. And George Romero is probably the clearest example of that, where they want you to learn how to train the zombies up, where they basically said, it's time, we're adding a boss that's going to make you stay on your feet. There are two different wonder weapons on this map. Both are super enticing, but neither is the best of wonder weapons. The VR-11 turns a zombie into a human, but it only can kill one at a time, so it isn't actually an effective way of killing zombies. The Scavenger is this bolt-action sniper rifle that fires explosive rounds, which pairs very well with PhD Flopper that made its return on this map. Call of the Dead is one of those zombie maps that is just primed for making good memories on. The 13th best zombies map of all time is Buried, effectively the final zombies map of the Jimmy Zielinski era of zombies. And he went out with a bang. This is a very unique map. A western town has been buried underground. This is a concept that has never come close to being attempted before, but they without a doubt were able to pull it off. There's so many interesting ideas here. The second you jump down, you're introduced to the chalk mechanic, where essentially you have the chalk, you can put the wall bounce wherever you want on this map. You can kind of set up the game however you want to set it up here. There's a good amount of personalization. Each time you draw a wall by, you get 1,000 free points, combined with the fact that every time you give Leroy, the helper man of this map that can basically do it all, you can get yourself set up on a very early round by using the combination of the chalk and giving Leroy the boost to open up the different areas. So the setup process, the first 10 minutes of a game of zombies is way different on Buried and on any other map, and that's just one of the reasons why this map stands out in your head so much. The Wonder Weapon is almost more of a movement tool than it is an actual gun for killing zombies, although it does that very well too. The Easter egg on Buried is one of my favorite Easter eggs ever to complete. You do need 4 players to get this one done, but it is very fun. There's a few different fun little puzzles, unique challenges. That sharpshooter step at the end is everybody's favorite Easter egg step. It's like this final skill tip. You gotta get everybody in line, you gotta get everybody to hit all of their targets. If you can't get it done, you're not gonna be able to finish this Easter egg. It's really, really cool atmosphere. I love the music on this map. Leroy is pretty much every map since Buried. I miss having Leroy. Just the ability to have a way of holding your last zombie to where you can go off and do whatever you gotta do, because our man Leroy has that zombie unlocked. It's just so convenient and endearing. Seeing him hold the zombie like it's his little baby. Going through the witch's house for the first time was downright horrifying. The inexperienced players almost guaranteed to lose all of